I do appreciate your time, guys. You could be anywhere, but you decided to be here, and that's super humbling. I just want to say a lot of times I use cliches like, or they sound like cliches. If you internalize these things, these aren't just sayings that we say and they have no meaning. And, ooh, that sounds good. I'm super impressed that you were able to regurgitate that saying or that phrase by that founding father. That's not what this channel is all about. This channel is all about every video I upload, every live stream I do, it's about, I just want to change our world. We're on a bad trajectory. We've got a lot of people who think that they have power over us and they can exercise that power over us. And as long as it's legal, it makes it right. And it absolutely is not right. So when I say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression, that comes from the heart. I want to be eternally vigilant. And it's hard, guys. It's easy to relax. It's easy to coast. It's easy to let things slide, not hold people accountable. Sometimes it's easy to keep our mouths shut and not say anything. And at other times, it's easy to say things when we should be keeping our mouths shut, especially when we're around law enforcement agents or state agents who claim to be protecting and serving us, and they do the exact opposite. So when I do these live streams, I want you to know it's because I want to set those brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. And that sounds like another cliche, but I'm telling you, if we have that brush fire of freedom fanned into a serious category 5 flame in your heart, we are going to change the world. If it is to be, it's up to me. And when I say I want freedom, I don't just want it for me. I don't just want it for my family. I want it for everybody, because when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. And when injustice happens to one man anywhere, like if it happens to you, it's eventually going to happen to me. Now I could sit back and just take it easy and go, oh yeah, you know what? That happened to Tennessee Accountability. That happened to Lackluster. That happened to John Eagle out there. It's never going to happen to me. Yeah, it's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to one of your family members. You're going to encounter a cop who's trigger happy, who just can't wait to put another DUI on the books, who doesn't care if you blow triple zeros, doesn't care if you can pass the field sobriety test. He needs that plaque on the wall, the pat on the back. He needs that ego boost, and he needs that performance upgrade. And that's typically what happens. So that's why I even have the Here's the Deal channel, the Disturbing Illusion channel, the High Impact Vlogs channel, because I intend to spark as far as I can have anything to do with it. I intend to strike that spark against that stone to start those metaphorically brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. So what I am requesting of anybody who ever gets their hands on this video, whether you're watching this live stream or whether you're watching it later, I challenge you to find just one good cop. And when I say good cop, we pretty much have to define terms. What do we mean by good cop? We mean he's really good at his job of oppressing and exercising tyranny over people. He's really got, his book is just full of people that he economically terrorized under corporate traffic law. That's not what I mean. I mean a truly good man who is a cop, who's actually doing the right things and stamping out and putting an end to what is wrong. A truly good person who is a cop, because I don't think you can be a good cop, and I'll make my argument on that in a second, but a truly good man who is a cop is not going to let bad cops continue to be bad. Is not going to put up with the phrase of there are only a few bad apples, because every cop out there knows, if he's willing to be honest, that he's being bad, that he's committing legalized evil and criminality, and he will not put a stop to it when he sees his fellow officers do it, because he wants to keep his job. He wants to keep that paycheck coming in. He wants to keep making that overtime. All cops are tapping into overtime every single day. I don't care who it is. And the good cops who aren't tapping into that overtime are not blowing the whistle on the cops who are. And that is outright theft of the American people that they're supposed to be protecting and serving. So we're going to go over a couple of instances where, I mean, I feverishly look for good cops. Is Sergeant Curtis a good cop? Is Sergeant Steve a good cop? Is Frank Sloop a good cop? Obviously, even his own department will admit that Frank Sloop, remember Fridays with Frank, Pinellas County, Frank Sloop is not a good guy per his department, because he's on the Brady list. They can't even trust Frank, but they still have him out there issuing tickets and lying about people. And he can't even take a witness stand because he is on the Brady list. If anybody knows anything about the Brady list or the Giglio list, it's because that officer was caught committing some kind of indiscretion on duty, and he cannot be trusted to testify because he's lied on a report. He's lied to an individual to get his way or whatever, which is pretty ironic because police departments train you as a police officer to lie. So let me go over this first thing right here. This is a good cop. It's one of those good cops who's texting while he's driving, and then he ruins the lives of two people on the roadway when he slams into them with his patrol vehicle. Listen to this.
Tonight, a KVUE Defenders exclusive. An Austin police officer's body camera video shows him behind the wheel of his patrol car, rapid fire texting with two hands, responding to an emergency call moments before slamming into two cars.
The mother of 3 children.
This is going to be a lifelong process of having to deal with the pain and figure out ways to handle it.
And
because of some dumbass cop, and I would call you a dumbass too if you're texting while you're driving and you run into somebody. That's your fault.
Another driver.
I woke up in the hospital.
Seriously injured in that crash. We obtained the video after the officer resigned from the force 10 days ago. And prosecutors gave the officer a deal that allowed him to plead guilty to 2 speeding tickets.
Prosecutors gave him a deal. So now you got the cops working against the public. You got the police, you got the prosecutors working against the public, and you have the judges who are supposed to be introducing just a little bit of justice on the land, you know, for the relief of the people. You got them all in on it. So the police, the prosecutors, the justice system, the judges. So you've got an injustice system.
Senior reporter Tony Plohetsky.
And they allowed him to retire, which means what? Oh, he gets his full pension, not firing him and liquidating his pension and then paying the people who deserve that liquidated pension. But they let him resign so that he can, number one, get his pension. And number two, they probably didn't decertify him. I haven't heard that they have, but now he can work as a police officer in another community, maybe even in the next town over, putting everybody else's lives at risk.
Austin police officer Daniel Kessler is driving his patrol car in January 2025, heading lights and sirens to back up fellow officers who just stopped a stolen car as he taps out repeated messages on his cell phone. For much of the next 2 minutes, he's using both hands to fire off text, holding his phone.
He did that right there in a turn. Let me back it up to 10 seconds. Watch this. He's using his knee in the turn, but he's actually texting in a left-hand turn.
Stopped a stolen car as he taps out repeated messages on his cell phone. For much of the next
left-hand turn,
he's using both hands to fire
under the bridge and still texting.
Text, holding his phone in front of his face. The city of Austin blurred the messages, but officials tell the KVUE Defenders they had nothing to do with work and were instead to his girlfriend.
There's the city of Austin laying cover for this Austin police officers. These images should not have been blurred. We should be able to see exactly what he's texting his girlfriend, and they hid it from us because they are not interested in transparency.
In just under 2 minutes, with his body camera still recording, Officer Kessler, a 15-year department veteran, slams into 2 cars who had a green light at the intersection of US 290 and Cameron Road. A
veteran officer of 15 years. What do you think the veteran officers of 3, 5, 7 years are doing? If this veteran officer of 15 years is doing this, how many times has he done it in the past? How many people has he plowed into? And the city of Austin just kind of shoved it up under the rug?
As his airbag explodes. The video ends as Officer Kessler, who is not seriously injured, gets out of his patrol car, finally putting his phone away.
I heard a bang. I heard my kids screaming, and I felt pain just in several places on my body. It was just sheer pain.
Justin and Tony Reese were on their way home from a family shopping trip to Sam's that Tuesday afternoon after stocking up on monthly groceries. They were southbound on Cameron Road in their Toyota Tundra pickup.
Look at this. Look at this. just damaging lives under the banner of protection and service.
The light was red, it turned green, and I could feel the car go, and that's the last thing that I had remembered.
Justin, a cancer survivor who is disabled, was behind the wheel with Tony, a daycare employee, in the passenger seat.
That day, my oldest daughter, wanted to sit up front. By the grace of God, Tony said, no, you can't ride in the front. And that's the day we went.
Let's look at this. Look at this. Look at this family. Could have wiped every one of them out. And it's not like it hasn't happened before. It's not like these cops haven't committed criminality and violations of their own laws before. This cop would have easily given you a ticket if he ever saw you texting and driving.
By the grace of God, Tony said, no, you can't ride in the front. And that's the day we wound up getting hit by the police officer.
Jacob Macha is a 38-year-old employee at Reed's Cleaners in Central Austin. That afternoon, he was finished with work and in the southbound lane next to the Reese's, driving his mother's Chevrolet Trax that was reduced to mangled metal.
Look at that. Just damaging property, harming people, jeopardizing people. It just makes me think about all the times that they chase all of these people for these minor traffic infractions, and they put hundreds and hundreds of lives on the public roadway in danger just so they can get that one person who didn't activate their turn signal or performed an illegal U-turn.
I woke up and I had glass falling in my face from, I don't know if it was the impact of the window or the airbags.
Macha spent a week in the hospital.
I had a broken kneecap. I ended up getting
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. All because of a protector and servant, a hero who, if after this accident, this hero died, they would give him a 21 gun salute, a flag draped coffin. They would shut down the road so that you had to wait and wait and wait for the funeral procession. And then they would swear that this officer is a good guy, a hero, a warrior, a protector of his community. You know they would lie about him.
It was in my kneecap and I had 29 stitches on my face from here all the way down.
And has had months of physical therapy. Macha and the Reeses met separately with Travis County prosecutors, including District Attorney Jose Garza, in recent months. They both said they were disappointed to learn through this July 2nd news release that Garza resolved the matter by Officer Kessler paying a $1,000 fine for 2 Class C misdemeanor speeding tickets, a penalty they do not think harshly enough punishes the officer.
Unfreaking believable. What does this thing say? On Thursday, July 2nd, 2026, Austin Police Department Officer Daniel Robert Kessler Jr. entered a guilty plea to 2 counts of speeding following an investigation into his involvement in a vehicular collision on January 21st, 2025. As part of a plea agreement, Officer Kessler will be convicted of speeding and will pay the maximum fine of $500. Speeding? That's not all he was doing. They got him on camera texting, distracted driving, negligence, vehicle negligence, and it would be vehicular homicide if he killed somebody. Would they have pinned him to the wall on that? On January 21st, I'm going to show you another example where a cop is actually involved in vehicular homicide. We're talking about this guy was doing 114 to 117 in a 40-mile-per-hour zone, killed 2 guys, and didn't see 1 day in jail. So it says, on January 21st, 2025, Officer Kessler was driving an APD squad car responding to an emergency call when he collided with 3 other vehicles, and then talks about the drivers. An investigation conducted by the Austin Police Department Special Investigations Unit was subsequently referred to the Travis County District Court. We thank the Austin Police Department for bringing this incident to our attention. And they're not even going to mention the fact that he was texting in this letter. These people are clowns.
By Officer Kessler paying a $1,000 fine for 2 Class C misdemeanor speeding tickets, a penalty they do not think harshly enough punishes the officer.
I am livid. I don't think he understands the hell he put my kids through.
Garza said in a statement that, quote, "We were in communication with victims of this case during every phase, including deciding which misdemeanor the officer was going to plead guilty to, as his actions did not legally rise to a felony level offense."
This is the district attorney. This is the district attorney in Austin, Texas.
We hope this resolution brings the victims a modicum of justice. 16 months after the crash,
How does that bring anybody justice?
both the Reeses and Macha say they are still recovering.
I had to call a counselor. I had to talk to a therapist. That's how bad it was.
The pain is intense daily. It's one or the other, like the knee or the hip or back hurting is just constant pain.
The results of a crash that she says should have never happened.
Of course it shouldn't have.
We reached out to Officer Kessler after his resignation. He did not respond to us directly, but his attorney sent a statement saying that he deeply regrets the accident and is relieved to have criminal accusations against him resolved. Mark and Quita.
What a story. Tony, what are experts saying about how prosecutors handled this case?
So we got divided opinions among experts we talked to. A Baylor law professor told us that charges against Officer Kessler could have been difficult for an array of reasons, including potential arguments that he wasn't texting at that precise moment of the collision.
Oh my
But another
God.
former prosecutor in Tarrant County of Fort Worth, who specializes in vehicular crimes, says he considers this a minor sanction for the officer and said had the case landed on his desk, he would have considered felony charges such as aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or misdemeanor charges such as deadly conduct or reckless driving.
Yeah.
And Tony, is it safe to say we haven't seen the last of this case, however?
There is a pending civil suit brought by both of these victims of this crash. How the city resolves that in coming weeks or months, that's going to be yet to be determined.
Just alarming.
USA Shaw's actually says, he brings up a really good point. I never would have guessed as a young man that I'd have to always be carrying a camera because government agents would just routinely make stuff up, violate rights for no cause without any consequences. Guys, you got to protect yourselves. You have got to get yourself a camera wherever you get it from. I prefer the forward facing, cab facing on both sides because they can go to your driver's side window or your passenger side window, and a rear facing so you got all of your bases covered. And I am not kidding at all. That is one of your best insurance policies. You can get a cheap one, you know, 100, 150 bucks at, you could go to Walmart, you could get it at Best Buy, you could get it on Amazon, you could get it anywhere, but you got to cover yourself. And I always travel with my body cam. I always got a body cam. I got a magnet. I can always put it on my shirt. Whenever I get out, I just activate it. And I've also got my 360 camera just in case they knock my cameras to the ground and it falls face down. I've got lens protectors, but even if it shatters the top lens, I've got a 180-degree view of them beating the crap out of me so that I can prove that this cop was attacking me, that it was this cop's fault. Because I'm not going to do anything wrong, but they continually do things wrong, and they do it because it's legal, they claim. Let me show you what I was talking about. I got a couple things to deal with right here. This one's a pretty heavy duty one, but this is the one that I'm talking about where this cop is driving 114. They clocked him at as high as 117 miles per hour and kills these two men. And then the police department in the city blames these two guys, and the cop gets away with it.
But the road's looking good.
Glad to hear that. Thank you, Allie. This morning, the manslaughter trial begins for former Warren police officer James Byrd.
We've been following this case since September of 2024 and the fatal crash that killed two devoted fathers.
Investigators say that Byrd was driving down the road at 117 miles an hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone with...
Guys, just think about this. Let's think about this. 114 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. I can't even imagine somebody doing 70 or 80 in a 40, but 114? You've got to be freaking kidding me. And this guy didn't go to jail? Hasn't seen one day of jail time? Listen to what happens to him.
No emergency lights or sirens before that crash. The impact killed Cedric Hayden Jr. and Dewan Pettis, two longtime friends.
Did you see that lower left right there? Let me expand this right here. Look at the lower left.
You were on the impact killed Cedric Hayden Jr.
Right there. Boom. At 114 miles per hour. And guess what? As fate would have it, and we always see this, the cop lived. The cop walked away.
And Dewan Pettis, two longtime friends who were on their way home from work.
7 News Detroit reporter Faraz Javed first brought you the voices of the two families speaking out in their search for justice back in 2024. And this morning, Faraz is staying on top of the story and joins us live from the Macomb County Courthouse. Faraz, you spoke to an attorney about the start of this case. What is that attorney telling you this morning?
So, Keenan, one of the things that I asked is, even with such strong evidence in this case, will this be a slam dunk for prosecutors? And the attorney / former Wayne County prosecutor, Todd Flood, I spoke to, says he doesn't believe in slam dunk cases because anything is possible during a trial. And this is one of the most anticipated trials of this year. Former Warren police officer James Burke's manslaughter trial is expected to start this week, with jury selection taking place today. Now, Burke is accused of speeding into an SUV at more than double the speed limit, killing two men, Cedric Hayden Jr. and Dewan Pettis. Prosecutors say Burke was
more than double the speed limit is being so kind. 80 is double the speed limit. He was going almost 120. He was almost going triple the speed limit. And he was near 120. He was doing 117 at one point.
Driving without
wait till you see
lights and sirens when the deadly crash happened nearly 2 years ago.
They had two children each.
Feiger Law's James Harrington represents both families in a civil lawsuit. He says their biggest hope now is that the criminal trial will shed light on what happened that day.
They have
look at the front of this frickin' cop car. Look at this right here. Just smashed in. I don't know how anybody could have walked away. What if he had a ride along? Can you imagine? He was running 114, 117 without lights and sirens.
Now is that the criminal trial will shed light on what happened that day.
They have a family that misses them and loves them.
The crash happened just after 5 a.m. on September.
Look at that. He's going so fast that the surveillance camera that picked him up only picked up a blur.
September 30th.
Misses them and loves them.
The crash.
Watch this.
Crash happened just
coming from the left side of your screen.
After 5 a.m.
Look at
on
that.
September 30th, 2024, near Shaner and Prospect Avenue in Warren. I was there that morning covering the aftermath, speaking with heartbroken loved ones.
He was on his way home to his daughters. He got two daughters.
Investigators say dash cam and surveillance footage show Burke driving about 117 miles per hour without lights and sirens before his patrol SUV slammed into a white Dodge Durango driven by Hayden as he turned onto Prospect.
Well, the cop loses all of his rights on the roadway in excess speed without lights and sirens.
Todd Flood, a veteran criminal defense attorney and former Wayne County prosecutor.
Look at this. Look at this patrol car. They don't care. It's not their car. They didn't pay for it. They're going to wind it up. They're going to damage it. They're going to do pit maneuvers. It doesn't matter how many scratches they get on it. You know, when they pull somebody over, they throw the keys, they throw the wallet, they throw all these metallic objects on the top of their hood of their car. They would never do this if they had to pay for that car. Hey, if there's any damage to this car, you're going to have to sign a release. You're going to have to do a walk around. And if there's any damage on this car, if you put a scratch on this vehicle, you pay for it out of your own paycheck. No, none of that. There's no accountability. There's no personal accountability or responsibility for these machines that they give these psychopaths.
Prosecutor is not associated with this trial, but has handled similar cases.
How do you think this case is going to play out in court?
Those facts are very compelling for showing gross negligence.
How do you think the defense is going to play this?
The driver of the vehicle, let's say he was texting and driving. Those facts and details have to come out.
Earlier during the investigation, it was alleged that Hayden was driving without a license and over twice the legal alcohol limit. Meanwhile, prosecutors insist both victims were not suspects in any crime, and Burke and his partner were not engaged in the pursuit.
What do you think is going to
not engage? So it wasn't even an emergency call. And even if it was an emergency call, you are not going to do 114 and a 40. You're just not. You know why? Because, well, you wouldn't and I wouldn't, because we have common sense and we care about everybody around us. And it'd be way better to arrive at that call safe without damaging or hurting anybody's property or damaging them than it is to get there a couple seconds earlier, which we know that they never arrive when the crime is being committed.
to be a game changer in this case?
The testimony of the partner. Could you imagine if the
there he is That's the guy. That's the cop. This is the scum of the earth that decided of his own volition to drive 114 and a 40, killing two men, two fathers. Each man had two children each.
Driver said it was the passenger's job and duty as shotgun to turn on the lights and siren.
Now, we also reached out to Burke's attorney, Mark Curtis, and he respectfully declined to comment ahead of the trial. Meanwhile, jury selection is expected to finish today, and then opening statements will follow immediately after. Keenan, as always, will be following this trial closely, every aspect of it, both on air and online. Keenan, for now, it's back to you.
And let me know if you've heard about this, because there is a verdict. You want to hear the verdict? The jury clears former warrant officer in high-speed chase that killed two. Families continue legal battle. The families of the two men killed left the courtroom visibly upset. Of course they did. Former Warren police officer James Burke was cleared of all charges by a jury on Thursday. What the hell was wrong with that jury? Have they really been that indoctrinated and propagandized where they see an actual video of a psychopath going 114, 117 in a 40-mile-per-hour zone, killing two men, and they're going to acquit this guy? It reminds me of Philip Brailsford being acquitted after summarily executing Daniel Shaver in the hallway of that La Quinta Inn in Mesa, Arizona. Says including 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter related charges stemming from a 2024 high-speed crash that killed 2 men. On September 30th, 2024, Burks was driving his patrol vehicle at approximately 114 miles per hour without emergency lights or sirens activated when his cruiser slammed into a Dodge Durango that was turning left onto Prospect Avenue. Basically, they said that these 2 guys were at fault because one guy's blood alcohol level was tested and it was elevated. Burke faces 4 charges, 2 counts, or he faced 4 charges, 2 counts of manslaughter with a motor vehicle, 1 count of mooting violation, causing serious impairment of bodily function, and 1 count of willful neglect of duty. After 7 days of testimony evidence, the jury returned not guilty verdicts on all counts. What the hell is wrong with the world? The trial centered entirely on one question. Did Burke's high-speed driving constitute criminal gross negligence, or was the crash an unavoidable accident caused by an impaired driver? You've got to be kidding. This is America? Land of the free, home of the brave, where justice prevails? Prosecutors argued Burke operated his vehicle with gross negligence, telling jurors the crash did not have to happen. Defense attorneys countered that Hayden was heavily intoxicated and made an improper, unexpected left turn directly in front of the cruiser. Curtis, when you do a left-hand turn, you don't anticipate the person you're turning in front of is doing 114 miles per hour. You assume they're going 40, and if they're going 40, you got plenty of time to turn. Curtis argued that Burke acted entirely within his training. The verdict drew an immediate emotional reaction from the families of the 2 men who died. That's BS. That's BS, one person said. We have no justice because my son is gone. His best friend is gone. The officer has been at home enjoying his family, and it's not bringing my son back or his friend. Civil lawsuit is still pending. The prosecutor respects the verdict. This guy said, "We respect the jury's verdict and thank the jurors for their service. Our office pursued this case based on the evidence and presented the facts to the jury for them to consider. While the jury reached a different conclusion than the prosecution advocated, we remain committed to seeking justice on behalf of the victims and their families." There is no justice in that when you can let a psychopath going 114 miles per hour. There's no word that Burke was decertified, and he may live to do this again. I can't even imagine how anybody has such a conscience that is so seared that they're going to be doing 114 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. You would just the hairs would stand up at the back of your neck. Anything could happen. A dog crosses your path and you careen into a gas station, a convenience store filled with people. A kid could not be looking both ways like kids do. Somebody's texting while they're walking, completely destroy that kid's life. An e-biker, a bicyclist, anything could have happened. And there's no way he could have reacted in time. Now, on my hunt for good cops, I also want to call out when cops do something good. And that leads to the Pinal County ending their flock contract because of Sheriff Ross Teeple on August 5th, 2026. I want you to hear what Sheriff Ross Teeple says, a lot of which is good, but I also want to lay out before you, does this make him a good police officer because he wants to get rid of flock? Who doesn't want to get rid of flock security safety cameras?
Hey. All right, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the board. But now,
Before I proceed with this, I want to hear what you guys have to say about this manslaughter trial and the verdict where they acquitted this Warren police officer for killing these two men. Do you think that was just? What would you have done if you were on the jury? How can it be that a jury actually comes back with an acquittal verdict on all four charges? How can that possibly be in the land of the free, home of the brave? Now let's get to the sheriff. Listen to what he has to say about this.
hey. All right, Mr.
By the way, this isn't a deputy. This is the actual sheriff of Pinal County.
Hey. All right, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the board, Pinal County. To reiterate what I started off with explaining in this discussion is I have serious Fourth Amendment concerns over the current technology that is spread out on Pinal County unincorporated areas. I'm only talking about cameras that are under the control of the Pinal County Sheriff's Office. These concerns are enough that I instructed my staff to cancel the contract that the Sheriff's Office has. As far as with these cameras go, I wanted to give a little.
I say good for him, but I also have the question, okay, you canceled the flock contract, but what about whatever contract you have with Axon and Motorola and the other competitors in the surveillance police state sphere? Because there are a lot of competitors with flock. So is he cherry picking here and going, no, we don't want flock cameras in our county, but we don't mind Axon facial recognition, automatic license plate reader cameras?
Context for everyone is I think we can all agree that AI has become way more powerful now than it was in 2021.
That's true.
And in 2021, we looked at license plate readers because the Supreme Court of the United States it's settled law that you have no expectation of privacy for your license plate as it travels down a public roadway.
And I hate that. I hate that because you should know everything about the government, but the government should know nothing about you. And I mean absolutely nothing. Yeah, there's no expectation of privacy in public, but that's for private individual to private individual. You have every right to be private from whatever prying eyes the government wants, whatever information they want to extract out of you. You should absolutely be private with regard to the perspective of the government. If you disagree with me on that, I want to hear about your disagreement and why exactly you disagree. No, Brian, you don't understand. The government needs to know about us so that they can keep us safe. How are they going to keep us safe unless they know the criminal's social security number? Unless they know the criminal's license plate numbers and where the criminal actually was at a particular time. I mean, don't you want somebody like, what was that, Scott Peterson? Wouldn't it be great if we had flock cameras to discover where Scott Peterson was and when he killed Lacey Peterson and how he disposed of her body? We would have caught what's that little girl's name? JonBenet Ramsey. We could have solved all of these cases. They would have never gone cold if we had flock cameras. So the more flock cameras we have, the more crime we can stomp out.
The most recent ruling I find is really curious because in an 8-1 ruling in 2020, the Supreme Court of the United States confirmed that law enforcement can run a license plate driving down the roadway. The only dissenting opinion was by Sotomayor, where she dissented not on the reading of the license plate, it was on the actions of the police officer after he ran the license plate. He ran the license plate and he said it showed that the registered owner of the vehicle had a suspended license. So he pulled him over, assuming it was the registered owner of the vehicle. It turned out to be him. But I actually agree with the dissension on this, that the officer should have known the person driving had a suspended license, knew that there was a registered owner. But
I understand his point there, but the officer shouldn't be running your license plate unless he suspects that you've actually committed a crime. And he needs to suspect with probable cause. If you don't have probable cause that a crime has been committed, you shouldn't be running anybody's plates. And besides that, we know that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And more accurately, power attracts the corruptible like a magnet. So what do you think is going to happen when people who desire the ring of power actually get that power? If the problem with the world is that there are evil people in the world and we got to get rid of them, then the last thing you would want to do as a solution to that problem is give some of these corrupt, evil, immoral people a powerful tool like Flock security cameras and ALP, automatic license plate readers, and Raven technology and ShotSpotter technology and Signal Trace technology, because they are going to abuse it and they have abused it. And I'm thinking the few officers that we've heard about getting caught and fired, and the police chiefs rising up going, well, we never saw that happening, so we're going to really put tighten the screws on these people. No, they're not. Continue to expect that it will continue to happen.
So the entire Supreme Court agreed that there's no expectation of privacy on your license plate because technically DMV owns the license plate.
Did you get that? Technically, the DMV owns the license plate. The license plate you have to continually renew every single year. The DMV owns that license plate. That makes you a slave. You already paid for your vehicle. You already paid taxes on your vehicle, but every single year you got to register that vehicle and pay taxes every single year on property that you've already paid taxes on. And he says, and he admits, and he's right, the DMV owns that license plate. Therefore, that gives them the legal justification and, in their eyes, the moral justification to run that plate. You don't own that plate. The DMV does.
The problem that I have that my staff brought up to me that I've been researching is we won't even go into the data breach issues that have been circulating. My IT confirmed that some of them have happened. What I have an issue with is once you create technology that can now establish a pattern of movement for an individual, there's a completely different Supreme Court ruling talking about putting geo-trackers on a vehicle so they could track a person's movement everywhere, and that's too intrusive. So now we have a camera system that can do facial recognition technology, pattern recognition technology, and can start building a data set on what our citizens are doing on a day-to-day basis. And that, in my training and experience and talking to my fellow law enforcement, is a huge Fourth Amendment violation. And so that's why
I agree. It's a massive Fourth Amendment violation. And I applaud Sheriff Ross Teeple from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department. I applaud him for ending the Flock contract, but I want to hear more. And I want to continue to push over some rocks and ask questions about what's actually going on here, because I'm not apt to say that this guy is a good cop just because he wants to end the Flock contract. While I can recognize that that is a good thing, that does not make him a good sheriff.
Instructed my staff to eliminate this contract, and so we're not going forward. And to reiterate, this only affects the cameras that I'm responsible for providing law enforcement services to the unincorporated areas of the county. This
should not be doing that. You should not be providing law enforcement services to the county. You should be a peace. You shouldn't even be a peace officer, because military language should not be entered into a organization that's supposed to be protecting and serving. They should be rights protectors. You should not be law enforcers. That's just a wrong way to look at it. So if you're enforcing laws, you're enforcing tyranny, because most laws are antithetical to the United States Constitution, specifically the Bill of Rights, even more specifically the Second Amendment and the Fourth Amendment.
Cities, if they decide that they want to continue on with this technology, God bless them, they are free to do that. I'm just looking at the concerns that—
God bless them. How about God curse them?
Were presented to me by my staff and by my independent research. One of the things that I'd like to point out with our current vendor is when I legitimately started asking these questions from our rep for this area, and he said he would get me the answers for that. The next time I saw him, he explained to me that he had been let go from our vendor. So I thought that was very telling. So I'm open for discussion, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the board, if you have any further questions, sir.
before we get into this discussion time, check out what Wasamatter you said. He's still a Fourth Amendment violating POS if he's scrutinizing or seizing anyone without a proper warrant backed by a victim's sworn complaint. And I'm glad you said that, because what I wanted to show you here was, even though Ross Teeple, his name is Ross Teeple, this is Sheriff Ross Teeple from Pinellas County, even though he's only been sheriff since January 1st, 2025, he would have surely signed on to this National Sheriff's Association letter to Dan Red Flag Law Crenshaw, where look how many sheriffs. There are 3,144 counties in the entire United States. Not every county has a sheriff's department. So this is virtually every sheriff in the United States signed on to this letter written to Dan Red Flag Law Crenshaw by Sheriff Jim Skinner, which is the National Sheriff's Association chairman. And they say, this is the ask. Despite the fact that they're killing hundreds of Americans daily, HR 1525, which is the FAIR Act, unfair for you, fair for them, would largely dismantle a critical tool in fighting against the Mexican drug cartels. It's all because we got to stamp out the Mexican drug cartels. We got to keep Americans safe. What does he want to keep? What does Jim Skinner and 3,086 sheriffs that are supposed to be representing you, what do they want to keep on the table? Federal civil asset forfeiture. For example, HR 1525 would repeal equitable sharing. You know what equitable sharing is? Equitable sharing is if state-funded forces, like your local law enforcement agency or a state-level law enforcement agency, initiated a drug bust under some drug interdiction thing on the I-40 corridor in Oklahoma or Arkansas, for example. And they busted, they picked up 50 pounds of cocaine or whatever. And it was in some kind of souped up Lamborghini or Ferrari. They would actually seize that asset and all the assets connected to that person who was driving that Ferrari, including the drugs. And then there's this thing called equitable sharing, where the state agency or the local agency shares a percentage of the plunder. We're going to call it plunder because these are road pirates, with the federal agency. So basically saying, hey, we want this revenue stream under civil asset forfeiture, and we want to be able to share this revenue stream with the state and local agencies. So you can't get rid of civil asset forfeiture because that would cut off our ability to make money and get some really cool cars and some really expensive properties under the drug war. It would repeal equitable sharing, which is the cornerstone of state and local participation in joint operations. In other words, we get a windfall of money. Like if somebody comes through TSA with a bunch of drugs, we can seize their gold watch, their Rolex. We can take their gold chains. We can take their, fancy shoes. We can take any property that's linked to them if they live in the States. With federal law enforcement, especially on task force such as HIDTA, on behalf of the nation's 3,086 sheriffs, the National Sheriff's Association therefore asked you to vote against HR 1525, which would basically neuter civil asset forfeiture laws. And that's why I wanted to show you this right here, because while what this sheriff is doing is good, as in he wants to eliminate and end the FLOT contracts, has he signed on to the drug war law in the process? Because if he has, he is in direct violation and lives every day in the direct violation of the Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. Because if this is the land of the free, home of the brave, you should be free to engage in the free market and sell and buy and transport and possess whatever the frick you want, as long as you're not forcing people to do something against their will and without their consent, as long as you're not threatening people, as long as you're not stealing property, you should be able to engage fully in the free market. That's not how sheriffs look at it, though. So they're basically, I think Sheriff Ross Teeple and these other sheriffs are getting together going, you know what? This Flock security thing is a huge PR nightmare. If all these people weren't rising up against Flock security, we'd be perfectly fine with this technology. But because it makes us look really bad and unpatriotic, we better do something about it. Let's just end these contracts. We still got Axon. we can always fall back on Motorola. So listen to what this
Thank you,
chairman
Sheriff.
says.
Supervisor Surdy.
Yeah, I wanted to actually get this info out there before we started this. This is why I got this on the agenda, but there's so much national and local outrage, and people are taking it upon themselves to take these things down.
There you go. There's so much. And guys, I don't know if you've looked it up on the internet lately. I don't care if you go to Instagram or Facebook or YouTube Shorts or TikTok. There are people, it's almost like it's this whole industry of, now I wouldn't buy Milwaukee tools if I was you, and don't get one of those reciprocating saws and especially those circular saws, because they work way too good in cutting down some of these poles right here. But I'm not advising anybody to do it. It is like, it's taken the nation by storm. So there's major national outrage, which means there's a lot of public relations pushback on these sheriffs and police departments who thought this technology was the best thing since sliced bread. Now, all of a sudden, they're doing an about face because it's kind of making them look bad. Especially since a lot of these police and sheriff's departments have all these Yahoo police officers and deputies who are tracking their girlfriends or ex-lovers.
Country. And I think when we voted initially for these things, we didn't really have the information of what they would turn into and what they can still turn into.
Really? You had no idea? You really didn't? It's not only taking a snapshot of your license plate billions of times every single day all across America, and it's just getting worse and worse because now there's over 120,000 of these stupid flock cameras, and they're not just taking pictures, they're recording. You saw that video that I did, hopefully you saw it about 2.5-3 weeks ago, where that cop is sitting behind this spread of screens where it's like there's this stationary flock camera sitting at the corner of this street faced toward these apartment complexes, and they can tell by facial recognition and gate recognition technology how many times and how many people entered this one apartment and all the apartments across there. They expand this green square, and it's like, oh, this guy visited it 37 times. 400 people visited this place in the last 18 hours. This is definitely a known drug house. And then they get a warrant from a judge, and they get it signed off on, and then they get the tactical team in place, and then they start swatting all of these people because of Flock and Palantir technology.
Which is why we need to be concerned about them. I mean, President just took a trip to China. You're monitored everywhere you go there.
Yep.
In the same way in the United Kingdom, it's just like the novel 1984. You just addressed the Fourth Amendment because they don't only photograph your car; they photograph whatever. Even if you walk by them, they're tracking you.
Yeah.
And then there's the tired arguments. Well, if you have nothing to hide, then why worry about it? And well, why not just chip everybody right now and track everybody? And
exactly.
Then I hear the tired argument, well, you can be tracked by this cell phone. Well, then why do we need them? We already have cell phones to track us that way.
You know, that the cell phone thing is the dumbest argument that I think I've ever heard. And let me just give you a diagram on why that is. It's very simple. If you just employ just a modicum of common sense on your cell phone, you opt into your cell phone. You can't opt out of Flock. It's an opt-in. You can choose it. You control it. You can turn it off. You can turn it on. You can stick it in a Faraday bag. It tracks your digital activity, but it doesn't track every physical movement. It doesn't, it can recognize your face, but you can cover the camera. You can put electrical tape over your front facing and rear facing camera. You can stick a little thing in the slot. Well, actually, these new phones don't have a headphone jack because it's all wireless. I wonder if that's by design, but you can do things to minimize them tracking you, or you could just not have a cell phone at all. But you can't walk outside and keep 120,000 Flock safety cameras from tracking you. You just can't, but people are trying. So that's just one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard, to compare Flock safety cameras with a digital device that you hold in your pocket that you've opted into and can opt out of.
And the newer models, which will end up replacing these if we don't put a stop to it now, they will have facial recognition. They'll be able to read.
Will have? I guarantee you they do have. Remember that video that I did where News Now Ninja was talking to that cop, and he was talking about these really cool tools that it has, including facial recognition technology. And the camera wasn't even pointed at traffic. It was pointed at this little walking trail over a bridge.
Whose cell phone's in your vehicle and who's in there. The city of Mesa
That's the signal trace technology.
has real-time cameras where you are actually tracked as if you were in China. And some places they're putting them into infrastructure, like we do the cell phone towers into cacti and stuff. They're putting these cameras into things like that. The insurance questions, if we did not take them down, who's going to be liable to replace them? And they do not have breakaway poles, like poles that are mandated to be along the roadways in most places. And who monitors them? It's not elected people. It's not even sworn officers. It's just people that get hired at these companies. They have access to all your data. And there's been a lot of cases, and I'm not saying this would be, hopefully none of our officers were. There's been even where a police chief was tracking his ex to monitor her movements. So
a police chief was tracking his ex or her ex. Yeah, this has happened so many times. I think they're up to like 25 now, but that's just who we know about.
Another reason why you can't let this keep going. And from what I can tell, the Flock company has this information in perpetuity. It belongs to them once they record it. And why does it have to be held for 30 days? Why not, if you're actually looking for a kidnapped person, 5 minutes should be enough to say, we're looking for that vehicle. You don't need to keep doing it for 30 days. We have instant checks on firearms. You can do an instant check on that license plate as well.
We should not have instant checks on firearms. The government shouldn't know if you have firearms or not, or how many you have. And we're going to talk about that in a second too, because they'll SWAT your house if they think that you bought too many firearms.
Tim Burchett, the congressman from Tennessee, is going to be running a bill to ban these things nationwide. If individual cities still want to be tyrannical and still do this, I don't know. Hopefully Burchett's law would stop that. And even if they are semi-effective, if the people don't want it, I feel we're under obligation to do what the people want. You know, we don't necessarily know better than the people.
You know what? That's so weak. Do what people want. Why not do what's right? Why not cease doing the things that are wrong? You know that people do not want to be spied on. Regular people, normal people don't want to be spied on.
And I'll close with Ben Franklin, of course, this gets quoted a lot. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase temporary safety deserve neither. And if you're being monitored, you don't have liberty, you don't have freedom. So that's what I wanted to get out there.
I say amen to that. Those who would give up essential liberty for politically promised security deserve neither liberty nor security. And if you want to be surveilled, you've got some serious issues. I don't want the government knowing anything about me. I don't care if my family knows things about me, but the government's not my family. And I want to be able to opt out of it. And with 120,000, what is it called? DFlock.com. Let's open this. I think it's DFlock. Let's see. Is it DFlock? The DFlock map. This looks different because their homepage. Oh, the domain. What's it called? Is it dflock.org? Somebody give me the thanks for that, for the glory of Christ. Yeah, share this stream, like this video. Is it DFlock? Yeah, there it is. Okay, how many we got? Oh, look at that. 129,000. I remember doing this just not even. It just doesn't even seem like 4 or 5 weeks ago. There was 94,000. Now they got 129,000. Got 100 cities that reject these license plate readers. This is called dflock.org. I'll drop the link in the chat. They have a map. Look at this site map and look at all the the massively surveilled areas. What's this, Atlanta? What is this? Gosh, there's just so many. God, look at all of them, and they're just going up everywhere. Look at this. There's two of them right here. One on this side of the road, that on that side of the road. Dallas Fort Worth is a really bad area. Look at this, just high concentration. Look at this. Pretty soon, this whole area, including the barren lands of the United States, is going to have, it's just going to be dotted with blue. Guess they're not too interested in this area. That's a flock free zone or something. Look at that. But look at New York. Look at this. Tell me you don't want to escape. Look at this. Flock everywhere. And that's just Flock. That doesn't count Motorola. That doesn't count that Gen Corporation. It doesn't count, what's the other one? Starts with an R. You got Motorola, Axon, Flock at the top three. Yeah, it's like a disease spreading across the country. Flock Hopper navigation map. Let's see. I haven't heard of Flock Hopper. Flock Hopper, ALPR surveillance cameras near you. Have not seen this yet. Doesn't ring a bell. Yeah, look at this. 20 billion scans per month. It says 90 plus thousand ALPRs. They need to change that. Let's see if we can. Yeah, I think this is DFW. This is Dallas Fort Worth right here. Look at that high concentration of Flock cameras. Sandy Springs. Oh, here's Atlanta. That's Atlanta? Oh, yeah. Oh, I was way off on the map. DFW is down here. Yeah, that was Atlanta right there. Look at this big. It's just like a big paint splatter over in Atlanta. Just surveilling everybody. No privacy at all. Look at this. Everywhere. But you know what? 120,000 cameras for 334 million people. Pretty sure we can do something about this. Look at Florida. Jeez. Florida is just crazy too. Fort Lauderdale. Hollywood, Florida. Man, they are real. Oh, is that the, let's see. Do they have them in the Florida Keys? There's three of them in the Florida Keys. Oh, 4, 5, 6. They got it way down here in the Keys right here. Got to know who's going to visit the Florida Keys. Got to put that little deal in place. Let's see if you can identify this one. Oh, you can't click on that like you can. Yeah, look at that. You can put your zip code in here. I used to live in 93. Lancaster, 93535. Lancaster doesn't have as many, but they do have them on major areas here. Oh, that won't let me. Yeah, there we go. Sierra Highway. They got 4 of them on this corner right here. Oh, and there's another website called Have I Been Flocked? Have I been flocked? You can put your license plate number right there and find out how many times. Have you guys heard of haveibeenflocked.com? You can find out anytime they did a search on your license plate, if there was an actual query on your specific license plate in your vehicle, and it should give every occurrence, although that's suspect to me. The next one we're going to go over is this one right here. You know, we've got real, honest to goodness crime in the world. And we've got these beach patrol police. I can't help but think they're perverted beach patrol police, because they're not out there actually stopping real criminals who are committing real crimes like theft, murder, rape. There's bad things happening to kids. There's human trafficking all the time. You know, things where actual people are getting harmed. No, they're going to do beach patrol. And if they see a young person with a beer, they're going to pounce on them and throw them into a cage. That's what this is.
With the Volusia Sheriff's Office approached two young women on a Florida beach after noticing alcohol in an area where alcohol was not allowed. At first, it looked like one of the smallest police calls imaginable. Two girls, a beach, a drink.
It
and a
looked
rule
like
that many people
it looked like one of the smallest police calls imaginable because it was one of the smallest police calls imaginable.
would probably expect to end with a warning. But within minutes, one of them handed over an identification card that was not hers, and that one decision turned a beach day into a ride to jail.
Who cares?
Liking the video only
the cops should have never, ever intruded on these people. And if they were going to and just say, hey, we can't have young people drinking on the beach here. We're going to have to collect your bottles. I'm not even for that, because that means they're going to steal the product of somebody else's time and laboring energies. I mean, these girls bought this alcohol, so they should just say, hey, we got to ask you, don't drink anymore, and we're just going to leave you alone. I don't want to see your ID, but no, they continue to push it.
The beach. At one of the nearest trash cans. You guys have your IDs with you? Yeah.
Guess what I get to do? I get to look at women in bikinis all day, and I get to pretend I'm out there protecting and serving them as I put my grubby little hands on them, and then I get to cuff them because I'm a sadist at heart. This is so pathetic. It's embarrassing to even go over something like this.
You guys at least 21? Okay.
Giving a fake, this isn't the 80s anymore, by the way. Giving a fake ID to a cop is one of the dumbest things you can do, because you look on the back of your license, it's got this little scan code. They can bring stuff up that probably goes to their phone. They don't even need to be near their vehicle, and they're gonna understand really, really quickly that you just passed them a fake ID. Stop doing stupid stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. They're literally bothering no one. Always with the tats. Always with the tats. Imagine having a job like this.
Are you still in California? Huh? Are you still in California? Okay. And you're still in South Carolina?
Yeah, look what Whoop says. One last comment. Look at all those cameras along the beach in Florida. I bet they love watching those. And remember, they call it flock because they have these certain models, like they have the Raven shot spotter technology. They have the Falcon. They have the Condor. The Condor is the one that's hanging from the white ones. You got the regular, I think it's the Falcon it's kind of an oblong black box. Well, they have the white one with the dome. That's the Condor. And the Condor can swivel 360 degrees all directions, and it can also zoom in. So if you pass with your cell phone and you're scrolling or you're having a conversation, they can actually scroll in real close on your little computer screen. So if they have these Condors on this beach right here, you know, there are perverts who have access to this information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they can spy on you, and you never know they're there. It's really creepy. It's voyeuristic. It's perverted.
Okay. Address information correct on your driver's license?
I used to live there for college, but I'm here now.
You're here now?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your current address? House or apartment?
House.
Okay. This address is still your address?
No, I live I'm in LA.
Okay. What's your current address?
Someone visiting me. Yeah.
Is the address on your driver's license still accurate? Is what I mean? Yeah. Okay.
If it's the Emerald Street, then I have a different address because I moved. My current address.
He should have never asked for their address. He should never know what their names are. Look, and if you are just going to abide by the rules, just say, hey, I don't I don't want to know that you have alcohol. I don't want to know you're underage. If you're underage and you got alcohol, could you just please lock it up in the cooler and not take another drink? Have a good day.
Okay. All right. Give me just a minute, okay?
Yeah.
Exactly what's the matter with you. They love their jobs, dominating chicks in bikinis. I'm going to mute this while I'm playing it. They dominate chicks in bikinis that they could never otherwise get a date with or put hands on. Exactly. Exactly. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. He's going to go back, and he doesn't even have to arrest this girl, but he's going to.
Okay. All right. Stand up for me. Stand up. Stand up. Bring it back.
Are you serious? It is like a bad, nightmarish Saturday Night Live
Do
skit.
not resist me, or you're gonna go to the ground.
Don't resist me. I'm going to put my hands on you. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't resist.
Pull away from me. Put your hands behind your back.
For what?
Put your hands behind your back, or you're gonna go to the ground. I don't want to hurt you. Put your hands behind your back.
If you resist, you're going to go to the ground. Who but a coward could ever utter those kind of words?
Can you just explain?
You've provided me with a fake ID. Put your hands behind your back. We'll get it worked out in a minute.
So what?
I'll tell you again. That's what I tell you to do. You're going to go to the ground. You're going to catch a resisting charge. Relax your hands. Put your hands together like you're praying.
This is so perverted and disgusting. Man. They're speaking in Russia, and they're translating and putting the Russian on the screen instead of actually translating it in English.
I have one secured. One secured. Okay. We're gonna go over here to my truck and we're gonna figure out who you really are, okay?
Sorry, sir. What do I
I just can't even imagine putting my hands on another woman like this.
Yep, just hang tight for right now, okay? Because I still have your ID, your information. Okay, but you're not free to go yet.
Yeah.
All right, let's start again. Okay.
That was my friend's ID.
That's like an 80-year-old lady. Okay.
That's not an 80-year-old lady.
I have her picture pulled up. The driver's license number that's on that. It's a fake ID.
She's like 24.
Okay. Well, your friend has a terrible fake ID because when I run the number, I get the real person's picture back, and it's not that.
Okay.
Okay. It's like a 70-something-year-old lady. So whoever made y'all's fake ID did a shitty job.
Okay.
He could have at least picked somebody young.
I don't think that was even a fake ID.
Oh, it's fake. I promise you, it's
Really?
fake.
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, you did know because it's not yours.
I know that it wasn't mine. That's the picture. No?
Yeah, so what? Who cares?
That's that lady's. When I run that driver's license number, that's what comes up. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Not you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so you have now provided me with a fake ID. So, what is your last name?
Is this necessary?
It is necessary.
Can you just take the ID and let me?
I can take you to jail right now.
For what?
Well, let's see.
For
For providing a
providing-
false name,
Yeah.
for possession of a fake identification card, and alcohol on the beach.
Alcohol is not allowed.
It is not allowed on the beach. That's why I stopped out with you in the
The
first
person
place.
that lives here told me that alcohol was
They told you
allowed.
wrong. So what is your last name?
This is
What
personal
is your first
information.
name? What's your
So
middle
what-
initial?
It's so embarrassing doing these videos.
I don't have a middle name.
Okay. What is your date of birth?
I mean, think about it. People who breathe the same oxygen that we breathe are treating captives like this. Yeah, exactly. Officer right here. Newsflash. You're going to jail. Shut the frick up. You're just digging a hole.
That's why you gave me a fake ID, because you're not 21. I'm not stupid. I work on the beach. I deal with this 10 times a day. It is not my first day.
It's like Daytona.
What state is your ID from? Is it Florida? Or is
No,
it
it's South Carolina.
South Carolina. Hold on, 15 seconds.
And the backdrop behind this girl: honor, integrity, service. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he could have easily, if he was going to do this, he could have easily said, hey, I need you to just go ahead and get some clothes on because I don't want you out here exposed in front of me.
South Carolina by name. Let's try this time. How old are you?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 18.
Last name? First name? Only female out of South Carolina.
Well, at least he doesn't have a scripture verse on his arm or some stupid platitude about liberty.
How many further charges are there?
Well, right now, you're just at the ones that I talked to you about. So,
Can you imagine the perverts that actually apply for this job to be a beach cop? What kind of pervert do you have to be? You know what you're going to be exposed to every single day.
we'll see where this goes. Oh, she gave me a fake ID. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And when I run the DL number, it comes back to like a 7.
Okay, surely this cop that just walked up is going to be one of those good cops. Take his buddy aside and go, okay, what'd she do? Did she harm somebody? Did she threaten to harm somebody? Did she damage property? Was she disturbing people? No, none of that. What was it? She looks underage and she was drinking alcohol. Wait, there's no victim? There's no verified complainant? And you put her in handcuffs? Are you some kind of sadist? Do you like to see people squirm? Do you like to have people put their hands behind their back while you're cuffing them? Are you some disgusting pervert? Who are you? I can't work with you. Take her out of cuffs right now. Nope. Not going to be a good cop. You would think that they're here to save the day. Nope. No honor, no integrity, no service to the community.
Year-old lady
I'm sorry.
with a picture.
I didn't know. It wasn't my fake. It was my friend's fake.
But you provided it to try to identify yourself with that. How old are you? 18. Can you stand by with her for a sec, Joey?
Yeah, Jay Lobo says, or just say she's a kid. Like I could have a daughter that's her age or twice her age. Take her out of cuffs. This is freaking embarrassing. Don't you know your body camera's running? You can't do that stuff.
Good.
Your subject came back negative, Newark, found out of South Carolina.
Your last name is correct?
Yeah.
Your first name is.
She's a freaking kid.
Exactly. I didn't do anything.
Exactly. Exactly. She didn't do anything. She's the one that's speaking the truth and the cops are lying.
Yeah, but they're right.
That'll get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Can you imagine filling out the application and it'd be like this? It'd be like, okay, so wait a second. You're telling me that I can wear a uniform, I can have a gun, pepper spray, handcuffs, right? I can have handcuffs, and I can put those handcuffs on anybody, even if I don't see them committing a crime, they just have to break one of our policies. Awesome. Wait. And a lot of them are wearing bikinis and they're super young. And I can still put the cuffs on them? Seriously. Hell yeah, I'm going to sign up for this job. That's exactly what I want. Only a disgusting pervert would do that. Only a disgusting pervert. And then to carry it out when you don't have to, you could even come out as the best cop in Florida by going, hey, I don't arrest people. I don't care what your ID is, just whatever. I don't need to see. I'm not going to violate your right to be secure in your persons. I mean, I'm out here to just make sure that there are no victims. And I don't see a victim, but my buddy's going to be coming up the beach here in a second. Just make sure you put all your beer away, okay? Don't let him see it because he will put his hands on you and he will arrest you and he will cause you pain. God, man.
Oh, I need my glasses.
You know, this pervert cop standing there is just checking her out. Let me fast forward this.
Where are you from?
I'm from California.
What are you doing here?
I'm gonna go to college here.
Huh?
I'm gonna go to college here.
What college?
Daytona State.
How did you move to California from
My
California?
sister lives here.
Yeah, is that your sister over there?
No.
Stop answering questions.
God damn, Jake. Let me get my glasses.
Okay. Give me one sec.
Yeah. Fucking die out here.
Can I go talk to her real quick?
We'll let you talk to her in a second.
Let's pause for a second. Jay Lobo, you have purchased like 750, 800 Here's the Deal memberships over just the last short little piece of time. If you guys get a membership, a Here's the Deal membership, God, look at all the people who are snagging those memberships. Okay, I got a second screen open here. Whoop got one, Joe got one, Insidious, USA, Shaw's, Mississippi. You guys are all getting a free membership courtesy of Jay Lobo. Give Jay Lobo a shout out. He's single-handedly, almost every person who's a member of my channel has been given a membership by Jay Lobo. Let's see if anybody can up the ante right there. See if are you generous enough to give other people memberships? Pay it forward. I really appreciate it. By the way, when you become a member, you support the channel. And when you support the channel, you support liberty. Jay Lobo is just, words escape me when I think about Jay Lobo because I'm thinking 750, 800. Here's the Deal memberships. Insane. So appreciate it, Jay Lobo. You definitely rock, man. All right, let's get back to this right here. Appreciate everybody. Oh, by the way, I will read out all the super chats at the end of this live stream. Thanks for joining tonight, guys. We are exposing tyrants who claim to be protectors and servants of the people. Nothing could be further from the truth.
What are you going to study?
Radiology.
Okay.
And you have an ID or a driver's license in South Carolina?
No.
What state do you have an ID in? In Florida.
Just making a federal case out of this.
Is there anything else you're not telling us?
Huh?
Is there anything else you're not telling us?
Is there anything? What kind of question? Is there anything else you're not telling us? What would you like to know, officer? I mean, is there anything else you would like to know? And if you would like to know it, why would you like to know it? This is like a little kid right here.
It's just so much easier when you're truthful.
Yeah, I understand.
Do you have any warrants?
What's a warrant?
Where they want to take you to jail?
I don't know what a
You don't know what a warrant is? It's a piece of paper that says you.
Is it when the coverage runs out on my refrigerator or my TV? No, I'm not flex your freedoms. I don't have any warranties. You can just let me go, officer.
Have to go to jail by the order of the court.
Okay. Now he's threatening her. They love it. See, that's another indication and characteristic of a psychopath. They love to watch people squirm. They love to threaten them. They love to be in control. They love to have the power. And you can't fight back. It's futile. You can't fight back because, first of all, your arms are cuffed, torture cuffed behind your back. And that's exactly the way we want you. That's exactly the position we want you to be in. And if you resist, we're going to have to body slam you to the ground, says this possibly 210 pound male to a girl who's probably barely 18 and 100 pounds. It's just, you got to be sick in the head. And what's crazy about this whole thing, the psychological operation for me, is that the masses applaud this kind of arrest. It's like, yeah, we need those young people off the beach. Ain't nobody over here needs to have a beer. Having fun right now. There are businesses getting broken into. There are elderly people getting abused. There are people being murdered and raped and trafficked. And real harm is being done in your city, but you decide to deploy your resources on this girl right here. You suck. You really suck. I want to hear about that, Progressive. Stay tuned. Yeah, one good thing about them being on the beach of Florida, somebody pointed out in the chat, is that there are no oak trees, so there can't be an acorn that drops on the sand or on the top of a car. But there are palm fronds, and those can hit the ground with such great force that it would cause a law enforcement officer to pull out his government-issued firearm and mag dump on anybody who might be around.
What part of South Carolina? Well, let me skip it.
Yep. All right. I got some good news. I got some bad news.
Oh, God. Here we go.
The good news is I am not going to charge you with providing me with a false name. Okay. The bad news is you have a fake ID. Okay. And it is unlawful to have a fake ID. Okay. And it's unlawful to provide a fake ID to law enforcement. Okay. Yeah. Certain things I have discretion on, right? Meaning I can write you a ticket, I can take you to jail, whatever. Certain things I have discretion on, certain things I don't have discretion on. Yeah. Okay. The fake ID part, you're going to be taking a ride today.
That's BS. I guarantee you he's got discretion on that. He could go, look, you try to pass me a fake ID. First of all, she wouldn't have had to pass any kind of ID if he just said, you know what? I respect everybody's Fourth Amendment right to be secure in their person. And unless you've committed a crime or I've seen you commit a crime, I'm not going to do anything about it. So I don't want to see your ID. But because he asked for an ID and she knee-jerk reactioned and it provoked her to give a false ID, which I admit that's stupid, especially in this day and age of 2026 where they can immediately verify that it was a fake ID. Really dumb part on her move. But now that he has the fake ID, he could exercise that officer discretion. He just chooses not to, because I highly doubt that if he lets this girl go, there's going to be mayhem in the state of Florida.
Okay. So you are under arrest. Okay. You want her to have your belongings? Hold on to them for you? Yeah. Okay.
Do you have any shorts that she can put on?
I was just going to say, do you have some pants she can put on?
Now we're going to talk about the shorts.
If you trip and fall, you can't brace yourself.
Can you give me my shorts?
You want to bring up the COV for her?
Yeah, she's eligible.
I'm just trying to.
Okay.
19, I believe.
Yeah, with state statute. Yeah. 288.
566 on what is the statute?
Yeah. They,
Can I put them on? Yeah, I will. Give me a second.
Just pitiful, embarrassing.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm sorry.
She said, bro.
I got such your ass. Yeah. I got no top.
I'm more frustrated without tripping now.
you got a shirt? You want a t-shirt that she can just hold on? She can put it on when she gets out there. Okay, that's all right. You're good. They'll give you one.
I can just.
Where's your ID at?
Where's your idea? All right, come over here. I'm gonna have you sit in the truck for a second, and we'll get the rest going.
Can I put my shoes on?
Yeah, we'll bring them with us. There you go. Watch your knee, okay?
It's my old address.
The 1 Ocean 56. All right, come on and talk to her while he fixes something. All right, she wants to talk to you before we go.
What's so funny? Okay.
Ой, what is so funny with you? Что ты смеялась на улице? Я это видела.
Потому что он заметил, что у меня пальцы на
See, this
ноге.
is no fair. I can't
I
understand.
don't know what it is. I love the Russian language, man.
Saying, what's so funny? Shit, what's so funny with you? And I'm saying, the toes, whatever. So what's gonna happen is,
Whatever.
what's gonna happen is,
What?
the poop pill.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a friendly poop.
Shit like that. So what's gonna happen is that I called Aicha, I called your mom. You're gonna be taken to jail, but you're not.
Что ты им звонила? Да, блядь,
Что мне
кто
делать?
просил?
Что мне делать?
Никому не говорите, вот и все.
Никому не говорить?
Но у тебя рот, как будто бы ты срешь из
These two girls kind of get into this little argument, and the one that's seated in the back seat with her hands cuffed kind of pisses off the blonde-headed girl.
Мне это так надоело про тебя.
I don't want to talk to her anymore.
It's kind of weird.
Pissed her off.
Я, fucking,
What's she mad about? I don't know. No secrets. Secrets don't make friends. What's she mad about?
Secrets don't make friends. Neither does exercising force and violence on innocent people who haven't done anything wrong. Yeah, this is kidnapping for sure. This is exactly what this is. It's legalized kidnapping.
Everyone. Like, bruh, why does she feel the need to tell people?
I think she's trying to, like,
She could have just kept it between the two of us.
I think she's trying to help you out.
Okay, but she could have kept it between the two of us.
But her intentions were good. Right?
I don't even know.
All right, let's get the show on the road. Let's get you down.
Yeah, he does. He totally sounds like he's hitting on her. Totally.
Is she gonna come?
She said she is.
If you guys haven't seen it, I put out a video yesterday where this cop has met this woman on this set of this TV series and said, I will track you down. And he uses the automatic license plate reader to track her down. And then he does these dangerous moves going over double yellow line. I don't if you've already seen it, put a 1 in the room, but he gets canned. The guy cannot help but commit a crime on camera. He's that overcome by his lust and his desire. So I have no doubt that these psychopaths are secretly scheming on these chicks that they're having their way with. It's like this secret perverted desire.
She's gonna come on in the other car?
No.
They get to live out their fantasies as a police
Coming in
officer.
the other car. What was that, Uber?
Well, I don't know. I've never been arrested before.
She's going to have to drive out there and bond
She's
your
gonna
ass
have
out.
to drive?
Yes.
She doesn't have a car.
How'd you get here?
Uber?
I'll bond you out.
Sounds like she's. You hear that?
She's gonna Uber?
Don't be mean. She'll leave her in there. Hey,
I'm
let's.
paying for your bond, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, and if
God,
you're-
look at this guy, another pervert. Look at him. He's getting a good look at her. Oh, I'm looking at my prey, says Snowden. Interesting name. Snowden.
Mean to her, she can kick you because she doesn't care if she messed up her foot because she's getting it fixed anyways.
No, I'm getting picked up by Aicha. And then we're gonna come to you and bond you out.
What do you?
You don't really have much of a
I was just gonna say, how are you gonna tilt your head back? She's helping you out. She could make you sit there till tomorrow.
You said about me shitting out of my mouth.
Oh! Oh!
Oh my god, that was really like 5 minutes ago.
I don't know Russian, but that's funny because I got a shit pillow right there.
She said I'm shitting out of my mouth. Because I was like, I told you, sister.
I mean, in all fairness, she's looking at a shit pillow, so maybe that's.
I hate when kidnappers make light of a very serious situation where they're actually going to traffic this. They're trafficking her. She's being trafficked.
the first thing that came to mind. All right, you ready? All right, you know where you're going?
I give it the number and I give it the number to the branch show.
My guy. All right, what did we learn today?
We learned.
Oh God! Now the kidnapper is going to lecture one of his victims.
You cannot drink at the beach in Florida.
Okay.
And not, well,
or
I
anywhere
already
in the
knew
state
this,
of Florida.
But you cannot have a fake ID.
Ah, okay. What's the last thing we learned?
How about you cannot execute tyranny in the land of the free, home of the brave? I mean, the shores, the ocean you see in the background, this is supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave. This isn't Mexico. This is Florida. How about no tyranny on the beaches of Florida? You cannot trample somebody's right to be secure in their person's houses, papers, and effects, asking them for their ID.
What's the last thing we learned?
You can't drink anywhere in the state of Florida underage.
All right, that works. I always try to get 3.
You can't drink underage in Florida.
All right.
I believe you. All right.
Go bond her out. Good luck with the tow.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time in Florida.
Thank you. If they don't kick me out of the house, then yeah.
Enjoy your time in Florida as I kidnap your friend, and you better thank your lucky stars that I didn't kidnap you.
Yeah, you didn't get in trouble.
But I feel bad. She was with me. All right, well.
All right. Hold on a second.
Now we get to go back to the station where I can display and show off my trophy. This is what we do over here. Duh.
We're working on what we're gonna do because they're having some problems in there. It's gonna be a while, so we're just trying to figure out what we're gonna do.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. I have become a law enforcement officer so that I can fulfill my perverted desires. Where's Miss Piggy? I've got a pair of handcuffs for her.
Okay.
And then it freezes spot up and I get my van over here.
Appreciate it. All right, we're gonna switch cars for a minute. Okay, you're gonna go in the van until they're done in there. They got some problems in there right now. They're trying to work through.
All right, I gotta ask you a couple questions. You see the doctor 24 hours. Have you seen the doctor?
They're all just checking her out, surrounding her, like the wild dogs of Africa, just hunting her down.
24 hours. It's not a hard question. Do you have anything on you, on your person?
When I was in contact with her, she's basically in a G-string. Okay. Not really anywhere you can hide anything.
Do you have any other personal items with you? Nope. No cash, no phone, nothing? Okay.
Let's get it with
I could picture them. Yeah, exactly. They're hyenas. I use wild dogs of Africa because I don't know if you know, but one of the most successful predators on the Serengeti Plain are the wild dogs. And it's not because they're more powerful than lions or hyenas or any of the other ones. It's because they have this amazing ability to pinpoint a target, their prey, and just run it into the ground. And they all tag team and they take shifts and they make sure they can bring down the wild dogs of Africa can bring down the biggest prey because they're coordinated in their attack and they work together. And when one part of the pack gets tired, they lay down and the other part, takes over and they'll just run them across the Serengeti. Even if it's a hippo, even if it's a giraffe, something they just can't take down, they'll just run it into the ground until they just can't take another step. And then they move in. That's why I always talk about the wild dogs because they remind me of the cops because they're coordinated in their attack. The local law enforcement, the state law enforcement, they're a crime syndicate, and they work together like pack animals because you are the prey. It's not about protecting and serving you. It's about protecting and serving the state and generating revenue for the state so they can have more resources, more manpower, and more technology to bring us to bear, because that's really what it's all about. They love to control us. It's not about safety. It's about control. They are psychopaths. Only psychopaths will want to control somebody and do something to somebody against their will and in violation of their consent. Always remember that. And they do have great staying power. And what really infuses them with power, you know, as it were, from on high, is the political parasites write these laws on these pieces of paper right here, and they take these laws as holy writ, as though that politician just came down with a glowing face from Mount Sinai, and they're like, well, it's the law. I mean, I can legally put handcuffs on her. Just because it's legal does not mean, almost never does it mean that it's moral. Just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's immoral. That any man would ever want to put his hands on any woman who hasn't committed a crime is, to me, the height of perversion, especially when that woman can't do anything to fight back. And that's why I got a serious problem with law enforcement. This is it right here. This happened on 4/15/2025. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see if there's an ending here. Let's see what happened. I think they try to lecture on this last part right here. They're like, I know a lot of the audience has a big problem with, you know, we got bigger fish to fry. There's actually crime. There's actually murders. There's actually thefts. Businesses are getting broken into. There's a lot of fraud. People's identities getting stolen. And I know a lot of people have a problem with a cop going out on the beaches and putting the handcuffs, the torture cuffs on G-stringed young girls. But you got to look at the other side of it. She did pass him a fake ID. And of course, that makes the arrest all legitimate. Like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Perversion by any other name, in any other justification, is still perversion. You can no longer pull the wool over our eyes. Now, there are people who have succumbed to cognitive dissonance, and they're just going to let the thin blue line gang of criminality steamroll over them, but that doesn't make it right. It never will. So that's how that ended right there. I just want to know what you have to say. Do you think that I am wrong about this? You know, I always leave myself open, because when you get a cop that's doing this kind of thing, there's invariably somebody that comes along and goes, but Brian, we don't want young people on the beach drinking alcohol. It's just bad for them. You know what I mean? So we got to have the cops, because we got to have law and order. If we don't have law and order, then we're going to have all these kids doing whatever they think they want to do. But where's the crime? Where's the crime? You should never put your hands on anybody unless a crime has been committed. And for a crime to have been committed, there has to have been a victim. And if there is no victim and there is no crime, then keep your grubby little perverted man hands off of the young girls and everybody else who doesn't want to consent to your immorality and the gross injustice and the flag that you operate under that says protect and serve, or honor, integrity, bravery, service. Yeah, it's a bunch of BS. And a lot of people are waking up and they're not buying it. And that's why I got this channel right here, because we need to wake people up. We need to set brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, because when that baby is rolling, tyranny is just going to have to stop. So let me know what you have to say about this. If you think I erred in any way, let me have it in the comments section. Let me just give shout outs real quick. And somebody said, oh yeah, Progressive says that he has a story. He said that to let you know that there exists a place where cops are not revenue generators and don't normally violate rights. I would love to tell you about it. Keep doing what you're doing. If you guys want to hear what Progressive Martian has to say about that, put a 1 in the room. Let me give some shout outs while we're waiting for those ones to roll in. Abby Colson, thank you for that super chat. Graves says, a cop texted and drove with me in the back seat after arresting me for resisting arrest during a speed trap stop. Also on laptop, they are a danger. I'd like to hear about that too. Phenom Rogue says, much respect. Here's the deal. And people in the chat, thank you, Phenom. Jay Lobo, just crazy, over the top generosity, gifting 50. Here's the deal memberships today. Backyard Audits, love you, freedom fighters, love you back, man. Progressive Martian says, just want to thank you and let you know there exists a place where cops are not revenue generators and don't normally violate rights. I'd love to tell you about it. Keep doing what you're doing. And so people, let's see, there's ones in the room. Okay, Progressive, are you still in the room, Progressive? If you are, put a 1 in the room and let me know if you are willing to tell that story. Let me drop a StreamYard link so you can weigh in. What's up, Bacchus Shamil? Bacchus Shamil says sarcastically, this is with a high degree of sarcasm. Bacchus Shamil says, we salute our local troops. And of course, Bacchus Shamil is joking. Progressive says that he is ready and willing. Here is the StreamYard link. I'm not promising that I'm going to answer anybody else but Progressive. If you've got something that you feel like you want to share with the community here that's not going to take a great deal of time, but is definitely valuable to say, let me know. There's that StreamYard link, Progressive. Definitely curious to hear what you got to say about that. What's up, John Eagle? Hello, John Eagle. Thank you for being here. Whoop, whoop. Sovereign Dirt. You made a full sentence using just that. What did Sovereign Dirt say? What did Sovereign Dirt say? What's up, Progressive? How you doing, man?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, man, I'm so glad to catch one of your lives. You know, you are being shadow banned. I'm sure you know that.
I think so, yeah.
Hold on. Well, let me turn this down real quick here because I can hear you. Because I can't get any notifications on you, and I've been having to resubscribe to the Disturbing Illusion channel, which is terrible. So
How many times have you had to resubscribe?
Hold on 1 second for me. I got to fix my mic.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, you're loud and clear. Good bass.
God, I'm still getting my own voice back in though.
Are you getting it through? Are you wearing headphones?
Yeah.
Huh.
Hold on. Let me
Here,
see.
let me see if I. Oh, I can't.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, let me turn this up then. Hold on 1 sec. This is better. Okay, how's that? Is that good?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you haven't changed.
So my story begins with you know, I'm 55 and I was a teenager in the 80s, and my dad was a cop. Is it repeating for you?
No. I mean, I can hear something just a little bit in the background, but it's not interfering with what you're saying.
Hold on 1 second. Can you still hear it?
Yeah, for the glory of Christ, you guys give me a 5x5 if you can hear Progressive. For the glory of Christ says audio is fine. I think people can hear you, man. I think you're good.
Man, it is just echoing like 10 times.
Yeah, oh wow. Let's see. Oh wait, do you have other tabs open?
Yeah, do I need to close other tabs?
Oh yeah. If you've got other tabs open, that's your problem right there.
How's that?
Well, okay. You sound fine to me.
All right, I closed the other tabs. I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Did that work?
Yeah, that worked. All right,
okay.
Good job. Okay, so I was my dad was a cop when I was a teenager in the 80s in Denver, and they would play poker every Saturday night, and the stories that they would tell each other, it was literally a bragging session of how they violated people's rights all week long, and they would tell it, and it was literally stomach turning. And so I've had disdain for cops since, you know, and I wish I had the foresight to record that stuff because it was unbelievable. And because of course back then nobody had cameras.
Progressive, was this back in the 80s?
Yeah, this is in the 80s when I was a teenager. My dad was a cop.
Okay.
And he's not around anymore. But so I've had a problem with cops. I got arrested for a DUI in Arizona for just having weed in my car, and which is legal.
Are you saying did you say it's legal in Colorado?
But you can't have it in your car, and so.
Oh man, now you're cutting out. I'm sorry, your audio's cutting out.
45 days in jail because in Arizona,
I don't know what it is, man. Your audio is now cutting out.
Oh yeah, you kind of went away for a minute. And I've got good internet. Let me check something real quick here.
Yeah, I'm on fiber optic, so I'm pretty sure it's not
Yeah, I'm
me.
on satellite. Oh yeah, I've got good internet. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, but you cut out there for a little bit.
Dang it. I'm sorry, man. It sucks. But anyway, so I've had a problem with cops forever. And I have more disdain than you do. And I thought they were bad worldwide. So during the scamdemic, I went and lived in Mexico because I couldn't take it here anymore. I was getting harassed by cops for not wearing a mask. People were just losing their mind. And in Mexico, it's completely different. In fact, you don't know freedom until you've lived in Mexico. Everything they've taught you about on TV is absolutely not correct. They demonize that country so that they don't realize that there's other countries that are more free than the U.S. because they have basically the same constitution we have. You have to have probable cause. You get a right to an attorney. Like, it's all the same stuff, but they're not there to generate revenue. In fact, they don't give tickets. In fact, I don't even know. So I'll tell you the story. When I got first pulled into Mexico, I wasn't even there for 30 minutes, and I get pulled over by a cop for running a red light, which totally was my fault. It was a weird 5-way roundabout that had 5 different lights, and the guy in front of me went. So I'm like, I'm going. Car behind me was a cop, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting pulled over. I'm thinking I'm going to jail in this, dirt floor cage somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, cop walks up to me with a big old smile on his face, like, hey, how you doing? You turned out you ran that red light. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I didn't see you. And he's like, well, where are you trying to get to? I'm like, well, I'm trying to get that Walmart across the street. He's like, oh, yeah, you got to do this and that. And he's like, but I got to give you a ticket. I'm like, oh, no, don't give me a ticket. So I ended up giving the cop $20, which is that corruption? Yes, that's corruption. Did he tell me to get out of the vehicle and put my hands up behind any of that stuff? No, not at all. In fact, after I get the $20, he said, let me escort you over there. And he escorted me to the Walmart, which is how cops should be. He actually helped me out. My mind was blown. Like, he was the most jolly guy, waved at me goodbye. Thank you. I was there for 2 years. I had 2 other runs with cops that I needed help with. They helped me out. Thank you. Because the thing about it in Mexico, the cop structure is the opposite of it here in the U.S. So city cops and actually city town store runners have more power than state cops, which have more power than federal cops. Federal cops are on the background just helping out bigger things, but they don't have more authority than a city cop, like a sheriff. You know what I mean? They're not called sheriffs there, but whatever you call them. And if cops acted the way in Mexico that they act here, they'd be taken out the desert and beaten up, and it would go bad. And so they're somewhere half the cops there don't even carry guns. You know what I mean? Because there's very few gun crimes there. In fact, because I got in an argument with a friend because everybody thinks there's so much crime in Mexico. If you look at the stats, the crime in the U.S., the major crimes is 92% higher. Do you know how many mass shootings they had in Mexico last year? You know how many they had here last year? And they moved it up. They had over 400 mass shootings here last year in the U.S., and they bumped it up. It used to be 3 or more was a mass shooting. Now it's 4 or more, so they can make the numbers look better. So now to make it a mass shooting, it's 4 more. In Mexico, they had 3 mass shootings, and they had 1 school shooting, maybe it was 1 or 2 school shootings, and it was a teacher defending a student. It wasn't somebody breaking into a school where 400 cops, from the area came and stood around while kids got, unalived.
Yeah.
And it's just unbelievable. So it's not cops worldwide; it's cops in the U.S. So it's a U.S. thing.
Let me ask you something, Progressive. Yeah. What part of Mexico are you talking about?
I drove all over. I drove all the way down to Acapulco. My goal was to go all the way to Argentina. I was going to take the Transatlantic Highway, which is a 20,000-mile highway that goes from Canada to Argentina. But all the borders were blocked. You had to have your vaccine to get across the borders. Right. And so I was pretty much stuck in Mexico. But it was amazing. And I went all over. I drove around for 2 years. I was in an RV and just met people and realized that the food is better. The skies aren't checkerboarded. The people are friendly. I didn't see any homeless. I'm not kidding you. Like, I did not see a tent city because they help the people out there. Like, families don't put their grandparents in homes and forget about them. They live with generations with their families, and it's just a whole different culture. So I thought it was the world. It's not. It's the U.S. It's the cops in the U.S. And I don't know how that culture came to be, and I'm sure it's been here forever, and we just now have cameras. But it truly opened my eyes to it's not cops. It's U.S. cops. And
I know 5 people in Mexico. There's Jeff Berwick and Max Egan are in Acapulco.
Yep.
Derek Bros, the younger, and there's another guy named Derek Bros.
I've talked to Derek Bros.
And the younger or the older guy?
Oh, well, the one with the long hair. I didn't know those two.
Yeah, that's Derek Brose, the younger guy. There's also another guy named Derek Brose, Brose. That's an older guy. And then there's Gavin Saim. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't know who that is.
Gavin Saim is the guy who would walk up to cops in the United States and say, "Hey, you're double parked here. What's your name? What's your badge number? I'm going to report you. Why are you in this vehicle that's got tinted windows when you would have given us a ticket?"
I love
But he's
that.
had a lot of videos that have been gone viral. But you're not the first person who's told me that it's way more free. If you want to talk about liberty, there's way more freedom in Mexico. And what's really crazy is the propaganda in the United States wants you to think the exact opposite about Mexico.
Right. If you notice, if you watch any movie about Mexico in Hollywood, it's always got like a brown tint on the screen to make it seem like the whole country is dirty and
It's
it's
dusty
not.
and dirty. Yeah.
It's beautiful. The roads are nice. They have these things called smart speed bumps, which are cool. They're like a gel that if you go under 20 miles an hour, they're flat. If you go over 20 miles an hour, they beat your car up. Like their malls are nice. Like my mind was just blown. I was like, why have they tell you the water's bad. The water's not bad. There's delicious. I didn't have one issue with the water there. Like it's mind blowing. And it's
what
all
is
propaganda.
what is the part that the Mexican drug cartels play? Because I've heard the drug cartels actually have more power than the police department.
Because they have a free market system there, and they're acting in the free market, and they're kind of in collusion with the police, like it is everywhere. But if as long as you're not smuggling drugs or interfering in their free market, they don't bother you. Nobody there is scared of cartel. It's just like people in other countries think that, oh, there's Hell's Angels here, so you don't want to travel across country because you're gonna run into Hell's Angels. Well, nobody in the U.S. is scared of Hell's Angels because they don't mess with people. It's the same with the cartels there. So unless you're a competition to them, then they don't bother you. You don't see them. Nobody's scared of them. They're not a thing. Like I didn't talk to anybody that was like, oh, the cartels. Like it's not a thing there. Just like Hell's Angels aren't a thing here. Like we have gangs here. We have the cops are gangs here. I mean, I would tell people all the time that I would much rather deal with the cartel in Mexico than the cops in the U.S. You have a better chance of surviving.
I am totally in agreement with that. Like I've told everybody so many times, I'd rather deal with the Crips and the Bloods because at least with the Crips and the Bloods, you know what you're getting and you know you can fight back. You get swatted at 2 a.m. by the US CIA, ATF, FBI drug cartel. You're not going to survive the experience if you start fighting back.
The only thing you won't like about Mexico is they are kind of strict on gun laws. The only thing you can have is a 22. But the thing about it is they have a whole different culture there where everybody isn't carrying guns and the cops don't carry them. A lot of them don't carry guns. And it's not, you don't have to worry about a guy coming into a mall where that one guy just a couple weeks ago, used his own weapon to take those guys out, by the In-N-Out burger. Yeah, that doesn't happen in Mexico. They don't. It's just not a thing. And cops don't pull you over for a tail light. In fact, even the stop signs in Mexico are like yields. Like if you pull up to a four-way stop sign and there's no cars coming, you just go. In fact, if you go and stop and there's a car behind you, they're gonna honk at you like, why are you stopping? There's no cars.
That's common.
It's a rolling stop, right?
I know it's common sense. I can't tell you how many. Several times in my life, I've gotten a ticket at 2:30 in the morning coming home from work because I work the late shift, and I'm like, hey, nobody's around. This isn't unsafe. I'm just gonna kind of roll through this slowly and cautiously. They just light you up. It's like, why are you doing that? Because you ran that stop sign. It's like, yeah, but the stop sign is there as kind of a suggestion to be safe. It's not like this hard and fast rule where I need to get economically terrorized because I didn't stop.
I don't think DUIs are a thing there. They follow you home to help you out. You got to give them $20 to make them happy, which is fine. That's fine. I'm much rather that money go to them and their family because I know they don't get paid anything.
Yeah, and I don't view that as corruption. It's like, can we make a deal? Can we make a deal? I'm voluntarily offering you a sum of money if you just let me out of this thing. You know.
But
do you think you could have bartered with that cop? Could you have said, "Will you take $10?"
No, because I tried to hand him 50 pesos, which I thought was money because I just pulled it there. Turns out that's only like $5, and he was like, "No." And so I had to give him 500, which is $20. But I'm fine with that. $20 is nothing, and he was happy. He gave me a fist bump, followed me, had me follow him to the Walmart, like just exactly the way a cop should be.
But what happens if you get a ticket with did you have just a United States driver's license, or do you have a Mexican driver's license?
No, U.S. driver's license. They never asked me for ID the entire time I was in Mexico. I'll tell you another story.
Wait. If you got that ticket, what would happen?
Nothing. He wasn't going to give it to me. He was waiting for me to give him $20.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I don't know because they don't ask for ID there. In fact, I'll tell you another story. So I was helping a buddy fix his roof because a buddy that was living there, and I fell off a ladder. Thought I broke my ankle. I was crying like a girl. It was worst pain ever. Takes me to the hospital, and they do the X-rays. They check it out. They gave me the plastic boot, the whole deal. They charged me $40. And I swear if I didn't have $40, they probably wouldn't have charged me. Never asked me if I didn't say, are you a U.S. citizen or a Mexican citizen? It's just the way it should be. It's just amazing. And it's so mind blowing. And I was glad to see there's a ton of Americans there. And I was so glad to see them everywhere I went. And they all had the same story I had. People are friendly, nice. Cops don't pull you over. There's no such thing as a broken taillight. We're going to pull you over. Half the cars don't even have good tags. Like they're not even, it's not a thing there because they're not trying to generate revenue for the state. Like, and maybe the state would have more money, but whatever. But the state isn't also spending all their money dropping bombs on other countries and doing, propping up corporations because they have a total free market system there. There's a market on every corner. Everybody's a little competition. They all sell their little wares. Like it's great. It's the way it should be. It's the way I'm sure the U.S. was supposed to be before it, went the other direction.
I love that story out of Chiron, Mexico, where they got rid of the politicians and the police force because it got so corrupt. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They'll literally kick cops out of town. They'll kick if federales come to a town and try to do something, they'll kick them out of town. Get out of here because they don't have. It's not like the U.S. where they'll just bring more and more and bring SWAT teams and it's not a thing there. And it just blew my mind. So I'm definitely going to move back. I had to come back here to take care of stuff, and I'll be retiring there. I mean, I don't know how anybody can. It would be very hard to live there and work with Mexican wages. They don't get paid much, which is terrible. But if you can make U.S. money, like do something online and make U.S. money, you can live in Mexico extremely nicely. Everything is so cheap there.
You can buy a nice house, beachfront property. Yeah,
nice.
I know.
And the state doesn't take it away from you. In fact, they don't really even have home titles there. It's kind of a weird thing where if you live in the house, it's yours, and so that's why they stay in houses for generations. And it's amazing. And the fact there was no homeless people, I didn't see anybody that's asking for money in Mexico is selling something, oranges or Chick-fil-A's or water. They're not just coming up to you asking you for money. You know what I mean? And I didn't see any tent cities. I'm sure there are some maybe somewhere. I did not see any at one time. In fact, I saw a documentary about a guy who was going into Mexico to show all the homeless people on the border, and he showed like 3 tents. And I'm thinking, has this guy been to LA? Like that's the least. I mean, LA is tents in every direction you go.
Man, I was in LA one time going north on the I-5, and I had been on the I-5 so many times because I lived in Los Angeles County for about 7.5 years. But I took a trip back there again. I could not believe the hundreds and hundreds of tents on the side of the freeway.
Every direction you look, it's mind-boggling. And they have all the money in the world to fix that problem. The problem is there's no money in helping homeless. There's only money in foundations that can steal money, but actually helping them, there's not profit. If there's profit in it, somebody would figure out how to help them.
We should all get together and just like have a community that's like, hey, let's all move up to Mexico together. That'd be so cool.
And this country is because we have all this homeless, but yet we have a church on every corner. I live in Texas now, and there's like 30,000 churches in Texas. I googled it one day. It's unbelievable. But where are they at when it comes to natural, helping homeless or helping? Where are these people at? It just, I don't know. It's my little rant. But
well, hey, Kevin, I really appreciate you coming on and telling us that
appreciate you letting me come on. I just want to tell you that it's just the U.S. It isn't every cop. And if anybody gets a chance to go to Mexico and your mind will be blown, it's freedom. It's actual freedom. So,
hey, thanks for coming aboard.
Yeah, thank you for everything you're doing, man. Keep it up. You're awesome.
Appreciate the super chat too.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Have a great day.
Take care. Hey, back Shamil, how's it going, man?
Hey, Brian, what's up? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, we don't get to see you today.
No, not today, man.
What the frick?
What the frick, exactly. No, Kevin had a good story, actually. That was good information that he shared about Mexican, I guess, day-to-day lifestyle and police interaction.
My question is, when are you going to escape from New York?
Too much going on. It's way too much going on. I have a job here, so I have kids that I can't. I wanted to remind you about Sean Longan audit. You promised to do a video on him and give us a little your commentary video on his arrest, that he was arrested.
Yeah.
And I sent you a link via email, so if you can.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Well, that was a while ago. Not when.
What's the name? What's the first letters on your email? I'm gonna check it right now.
It's going to be my name, Ben Schmil. It's going to be Ben.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Yeah, and there's a link included. It just would be nice if you can, next time, of course, not now.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, because Sean is doing actually a really good job, but the way I see it, a lot of people just support police just in general. I see my neighbors always being extra nice to the cops, local cops, and everything. I give them middle finger, to be honest with you. That's my way of saying hello to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope one day they don't arrest you, put the cuffs on you, and throw you into jail.
Well, they want to do that at some point, probably.
Yeah.
But anyways, Brian, I'll let you go. I know it's been 2 hours now, so you probably you got to get some rest. And that's it. That's all. I just want you to remind you about his arrest in Long Island, New York, and I want you to kind of cover it so he gets some kind of support from us too. That would be nice.
Okay, brother. Hey, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. Take care. All the best.
All right, you too. Bye. Okay, guys, I think that's it. Let me just let's see, how long is this video right here? Because I did say that I would do that. Let's see, this is 14 minutes. Do you guys want me to? It's 14 minutes long, 14 minutes and 24 seconds. Do you guys put a 1 in the room if you want me to go over this? Because I did tell Schmil that I would be going over this, and I have not seen this in its entirety. As a matter of fact, I've only seen like the first 60, maybe 90 seconds of this. This is where Long Island audit. It's unlawful arrest footage of journalist by police union president. If you want me to cover this right now, I can. Why don't we just go ahead and do this? Let's see if there are any kind of support links here. There's a GoFundMe for Sean's fundraiser. We the People versus Police Union Power. Guys, police unions are strong. They are really strong. We can actually learn something from police unions because they band together and they are able to get actual criminality reversed. And what I think we can do is we can band together for good, like the police unions do, but our cause would actually be good. Sean says, I'm an independent journalist running Long Island audit focused on government and police accountability on June 25th, 2026. Not too long ago, I went to Suffolk PBA headquarters to get President Louis Savello on camera about ongoing controversies involving the union. When he told me it was private property, I said, no problem, and immediately backed out toward my vehicle while still filming, but I was grabbed, handcuffed so tight, my fingers went numb. Those are the torture cuffs right there. You can get permanent nerve damage from the torture cuffs, and arrested for criminal trespass. That is just so petty and cowardly. The property isn't fenced or enclosed, and the statute requires it to be, but I was told to leave and continuously did so. And we've seen this time and time again where people are actually complying with the command and they arrest you anyway. I was held shackled to a table for 6 hours and released to find my billboard truck had been towed at the PBA's request. This follows a pattern. I have a pending civil rights case over an officer who I alleged entered my property without a warrant. I remember that video, and assaulted me, all on video. And I believe this arrest was retaliation for my journalism. I would not doubt that. The Suffolk PBA is a powerful police union, as all police unions are. They are scary powerful, with deep pockets and political connections. And I'm facing mounting legal and financial challenges as a result of my work, holding them accountable. The funds raised here will go toward criminal defense on the trespass charge. Let's go ahead and watch this trespass in progress.
Leave.
What do you think I'm doing? I am leaving.
Leave. Get off the
I am
property.
leaving. I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting.
Don't
Nope.
resist.
I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting.
You were warned multiple times.
As a result of the handcuffs being put on so tightly, I suffered a pinched nerve, billboard truck impounded. I don't know at this point if it is damaged or not. Just hours after my arrest, there was an article written falsely claiming went there with the intention of threatening and intimidating the Suffolk County Police Union.
I love bragging about our police department.
There's a lot to brag about.
If you guys did something about these police misconduct lawsuits and settlements. We have $1 billion budget for the Suffolk County Police Department, but yet we can't find money for kids. Is ridiculous. Raise your hand if you receive money from the Suffolk PBA.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sean Paul Reyes with Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. On June 25th, I drove my billboard truck to the Suffolk County Police Union headquarters to peacefully exercise my First Amendment rights and to speak to Union President Lou Civillo about the reports of misconduct settlements that are extremely concerning. What happened next was tyranny.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just got to the Suffolk County Police Benevolent Association. I call it the Malevolent Association. There's the billboard truck here. Big, beautiful LED
Defends officers who admit to misconduct.
billboard truck. Let's see if we can talk to somebody inside.
So we're trying to get a hold of somebody here. Doesn't seem like anybody's coming to the door. We just wanted to speak again to the president of the PBA, Lou Civillo. This is an interesting sign here. It's a thin blue line gang flag, of course, with the text, "No body-worn cameras in building. Please leave your body-worn camera in the lockers at the security desk." Hello? Hi. Two people working the front desk at the PBA here, or the PMA. Again, there's nothing benevolent about the police union. As we've seen on the billboard truck, the PBA engages in the defense of officers who engage in misconduct, constitutional rights violations. They support legislation to diminish the rights of we the people. And we came here to speak to their president. He likes to go to the steps of City Hall and call out, quote, auditors for their harassment and threats made against law enforcement, and how auditors and people who record law enforcement abuse law enforcement, et cetera, et cetera. Hi, how are you, ma'am? Hi, do you work for the PBA?
No, I do not.
You don't? Okay.
No,
Thanks.
sorry.
No worries. Yeah, I think there's a doorbell there.
You said 5 minutes? Just wanted to let you know I'm in the lobby, but the door's locked and the receptionist is telling me I have to wait. Okay, thanks. Does this have something to do with what you're doing? Like,
Probably. I'm an independent journalist. I'm trying to speak to somebody regarding a story I'm working on regarding the PBA. So that's probably why, honestly. But no one has come to talk to me about anything. I told them I wanted to ask some questions.
oh, so it's because of you, they don't want you in there?
I don't know. They haven't said anything. They haven't told me anything. They told me to wait like they told you to wait when I knocked on the door.
Security, I guess? All right, well, I'm late for closing in there. I'm 15 minutes late, so
Oh.
it would be in their best interest to just let me in. I have
Right.
nothing to do with it.
I know.
Oh, maybe these
Seems
guys-
weird.
Hello, hi.
Lou Civillo, how are you? Sure, no problem. How are you? I'm
Second
you see me
time.
leaving? I immediately began to leave. Lou Civillo, would you like to come on? I am leaving. Would you like to come on the channel? I'm leaving. I am leaving. You see me leave me? I am leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Lou Civillo, you go on talk. You go. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
This is the last
I'm
time I
leaving.
will tell you.
I'm leaving.
This is the
Hey,
last
you're
time
the
I
guy
will
from
tell
On Patrol, right? I've seen your podcast.
Leave.
What do you think
You are
I'm
on
doing?
private property.
What do you think I'm doing?
You are on private property.
I'm leaving. So would you like to talk about the hundreds of millions of dollars? No, I'm not. Would you like to talk about the hundreds of millions of dollars that the Suffolk County law
You
enforcement
are
agencies have
trespassing on
cost the
private
taxpayer?
property. Leave. or
What
you
do you
will be
think I'm
placed under
doing?
arrest.
I am leaving.
Leave.
Immediately
Leave.
began to
You are
leave.
not
That's how the law works.
Leaving.
Yes, I'm leaving.
Get off the
I am
property.
leaving. I am getting off
You
the
are
property.
trespassing.
I am leaving.
You will be placed
I am leaving.
under arrest.
I am leaving.
I'm going to place you under arrest.
Do what you need to
I'm
do.
identifying myself as a police officer.
So do what you need to do.
leave.
I am leaving.
You need to leave.
I am leaving.
Or you
You're
will be
such a
placed
tough guy.
under arrest.
You're not gonna do it then. Do it.
Turn around.
Do it. I'm leaving.
Okay, but you
I'm leaving.
Not 1 second did Sean Paul Reyes stop. He was continually walking backwards the entire time, and he got the entire thing on video.
I am leaving. Not resisting. I'm not resisting.
Don't
Nope.
resist.
I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting.
Every one of these cops is a pathetic, stinking coward, pretending to protect and serve the community, pretending they're all about transparency, and they're absolutely not about transparency. They're about walking in the darkness, not about walking in the light.
multiple times. I'm leaving. I'm
This
making
is-
my way to my car.
I will be holding a peaceful protest on Wednesday, July 1st at 1 p.m. on the public sidewalk in front of the Suffolk County Police Union headquarters in Brentwood, New York. Conveniently, there is a park and ride down the road from the headquarters where we will meet. I will leave a Google Maps link to the location in the description. If you can, I would appreciate you coming to help me protest this injustice. Thank you so much. Now, the Blue Line thug who unlawfully turned off my camera is Union Treasurer C.J. Hunter.
I love bragging about our police department.
Absolutely. There's a lot to brag about.
Yeah. I love the work that our men and women do every day.
Hands behind your back. I am leaving. Not resisting. I'm not resisting. Nope. I'm not resisting.
What work is that? I love the economic terrorism. I love the fact that you could be completely at the end of your rope economically, and then one of our Thin Blue Line road pirate thugs will come up and take your last $250 because you weren't wearing your seatbelt. But when one of our Thin Blue Line members commit some kind of crime, well, that's legal and that's acceptable, and it is going to get police union coverage. We're going to protect that guy. This guy speaks like a criminal thug that you would see in some gangster movie.
Do a great job.
And a lot of that attitude and pride starts with that academy training.
That's the problem, is you have attitude and you have pride and you have massive egos that you can't bear to get damaged in any way, because when they do get damaged, you have to lash out in order to save face. And when you are lashing out, trying to save face, you end up trampling rights and the community members that you claim to protect and serve, you scumbag.
And that culture.
When police union president Lou Civillo put the handcuffs on me, he put them on so tight that I could not feel my hands. I repeatedly asked him to loosen the handcuffs and he refused. This is when I told him that I was going to park my billboard truck in front of his house. Not a threat, a promise. And let me be clear, protesting with my billboard truck on a public street is a First Amendment protected activity that I save especially for the worst of the worst tyrants like Lou, former Connecticut State Trooper Brian Fahey, and Police Commissioner Patrick Psycho Ryder. After I informed Lou about my upcoming billboard truck protest, Lou ordered the union treasurer to start recording. I will eventually be able to obtain that footage via Discovery. Unfortunately, I parked my billboard truck, which had a 360 camera mounted on the side view mirror, too far away from the front door, so zooming in, the footage is extremely blurry. But if you look in the window reflection, you can make out the silhouette of me backing up while being pursued by these thugs. Approximately 10 minutes later, uniformed Suffolk County police officers arrived on the scene, and after pleading with them to loosen the handcuffs, they eventually did. All of the uniformed officers were wearing body cameras, so I will be getting that footage very soon. One of the officers went to my billboard truck to turn off the engine, and after some time, I was transported to the Suffolk County Police 3rd Precinct, where both of my hands were chained to a table for 7 hours.
Wow.
As I was being processed on the charge of criminal trespassing in the 3rd degree, which carries up to 6 months in the county jail. During that 7 hours, I watched individuals arrive at the precinct after me and be processed before me. I was clearly being punished and tortured. While I sat in lockup, the Suffolk County Police Union had my billboard truck impounded without turning off the diesel generator powering the LED screens. So I don't know at this point if it is damaged or not. I have to take it to get evaluated. The next day, I paid $1,000 to get it out of it.
Wow.
There is my big, beautiful LED bill.
It's literally highway robbery under the banner of protection and service. You can pretty much not get more disgusting than that. And then ratcheting down the torture cuffs on his wrist, and it's in pure retaliation.
Billboard truck here. Look at the wheels.
What the heck?
Oh, I'm gonna have to get this thing checked out for any damages.
Remember, fellow patriots, to these thugs, the process is the punishment. Not only did I have to pay $1,000 to get my billboard truck back, I have to hire a lawyer to represent me in the criminal case, civil lawsuit, and possible defamation lawsuit. But what they don't realize is that there are thousands of patriots who have my back. I truly appreciate those who have already donated to the legal defense and fight against the police union fund. If you'd like to do so, I left a link in the description below the like button. I truly appreciate all of your continued support. Now, apparently the police union president, Lou Civillo, has a contact at the New York Post, because just hours after my arrest, there was an article written falsely claiming that I illegally trespassed on private property and went there with the intention of threatening and intimidating the Suffolk County Police Union. I truly believe that the Suffolk County government as a whole and the police union are coordinating to retaliate against my First Amendment rights. But
Man, if they're going to do this to Sean Paul Reyes when he's got the video cameras rolling and they know they're being videoed, can you imagine the depth of the corruption that that police department's been involved in for decades, unabated? Like, there are a lot of people who are like, they'll just give up. When they know that a police union is involved, they just quit, because it's like, just like Sean Paul Reyes said, the punishment is the process. They will drag you through the mud. They will make the clock run out. They'll cause you to deplete all your resources. And if you don't have backing, you're pretty much stuck. And then that message just reverberates through the decades, and then nobody does anything about it because they feel like they're powerless.
The government as a whole and the police union are coordinating to retaliate against my First Amendment rights. Besides the obvious reasons, just 2 days before I was arrested, I spoke at the public comment for the Suffolk County Council meeting, criticizing the police union and the county for their backroom deals when officers committed misconduct.
My name is Sean Paul Reyes. I'm a civil rights advocate and independent journalist and Suffolk County resident. I am here today, and I just want to say as a side note, this extra money that my fellow residents are asking for, the 10% for the children, I'm sure that could be covered if you guys did something about these police misconduct lawsuits and settlements. We have $1 billion budget for the Suffolk County Police Department, but yet we can't find money for kids. It's ridiculous. I'm here today because the people of Suffolk County deserve answers. This week, taxpayers learned that multiple Suffolk County police officers who admitted to misconduct were not immediately terminated. Instead, they were allowed to remain employed until they were qualified for full pensions, costing taxpayers millions of dollars. Think about what that means. Not only were these officers allowed to keep their jobs after serious misconduct, they continued collecting salaries, benefits, and overtime and pension credit while taxpayers picked up the tab. And according to the report, one officer, Jose Estrella, was accused of improperly using a database to run license plates back in 2015. Yet instead of facing immediate termination, an agreement reportedly allows him to remain employed until 2031. That's roughly 16 years after the alleged misconduct and about 14 years after the disciplinary agreement. What message does that send to the...
It sends, hey, we understand that our fellow Thin Blue Line gang member, you believe he did something wrong, but we're actually going to reward that behavior because we don't give a damn about the community. That they continue to exist is mind-blowing to me. That's why I constantly talk about the power of propaganda and indoctrination and the very real psychological phenomenon called Stockholm Syndrome, because that's what this is. If it's not, I'd like to know what it actually is.
The officers who uphold their oath to uphold the Constitution, engage, and they're honest, who follow the rules. What message does it send to the taxpayers who are struggling to pay some of the highest property taxes in America? What message does it send to the public when misconduct can be negotiated away behind closed doors? And what makes this even more disturbing is that the president of the police union, the PBA, the Police Benevolent Association, or I call the Police Malevolent Association, according to this article, these officers admitted to only general misconduct. That's what the police president said, the police union president. He's fine with it, of course, because it protects his misconduct in his officers. But from the taxpayer's perspective, the result is the same. The public pays, the insiders benefit, and accountability gets delayed for years. And the overwhelming majority of Suffolk County police officers who honor their oath to the Constitution, who serve with integrity, they deserve a system that rewards professionalism.
Name one cop that applies to.
Not one that
I know of, not one.
Protects misconduct and damages the reputation of every officer who wears the badge. And I'm asking this legislator to demand full transparency. Who approved these agreements? How many more exist? How much more will they cost taxpayers?
Strategically, I think it's prudent that Sean Paul Reyes or anybody actually throw that in there. It's like, no, I'm for good cops, and they don't exist, but I'm for them. I'm for good cops. We only want to call out the bad cops. Incidentally, that applies to all of them, because again, not one good cop arrived on the scene to protect Sean Paul Reyes from the Thin Blue Line wave coming against him.
And what reforms will be implemented to ensure this never happens again? And with my remaining 30 seconds, I just want to say I came up here last time to speak to each and every one of you about the Suffolk County police officer who unlawfully entered my backyard, who assaulted me multiple times on my property, I filed the demand letter with the county, sent it to the county attorney, as well as the Suffolk County Police Department. I just want to put you on notice. You have 5 days before I file that in federal court. But again, this county is not new to, you're used to receiving federal lawsuits and paying out millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. And we, the residents, are tired of picking up the tab, because raise your hand if you receive money from the Suffolk PBA.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. Thank you so much.
Or if you don't, actually.
Another reason why I believe this is retaliation is that when the Suffolk County Police Benevolent Association made a post on their social media calling me a thug, Suffolk County Council member Nick Caracappa commented on the post with emojis and celebration.
Wow, look at this. Long Island frauditor Sean Reyes, this is from the Suffolk PBA, decided to illegally trespass on private property today in an effort to intimidate and threaten members of the Suffolk PBA board. We will not be intimidated, and this thug will not deter us from. Can you imagine if a group of equal force entered the scene and did to these cops what those cops did to Sean Paul Reyes? What would the outcome be? They would be screaming from the mountaintops that a serious and grave injustice has happened, and we must bring the perpetrators to justice. It's not really unbelievable. It's unconscionable, though.
Council member Nick Caracappa commented on the post with emojis and celebration.
This is why people go ballistic. This is why people go postal. This is why you're seeing a lot of people on these corporate traffic stops pushing back, because they are sick of being plundered. They're sick of being terrorized. They're sick of being threatened by the people who are supposed to be protecting them.
Caracappa is the councilman who was arrested for strangling his wife and was given a diversion deal. As long as he didn't strangle anyone else or commit any additional crimes for a year, the charges would be dismissed.
Damn.
Nick and many other council members receive money from the police unions. So in my opinion, they're basically their puppets. Fellow Patriots, unfortunately, after this arrest, I started to feel a burning and tingling sensation in my thumb. So I waited to see if it would go away, but when it didn't, 2 days after my arrest, I went to my primary care doctor, who performed a nerve conduction study and determined that as a result of the handcuffs being put on so tightly, I suffered a pinched nerve and have Wartenberg syndrome. I will keep you updated as I am following up with a specialist. My arraignment on the criminal trespassing charge in the third degree will take place on July 15th at the Suffolk County District Court in Central Islip. I am calling on the Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney to decline to prosecute the baseless and retaliatory charge against me. I don't know the district attorney, but when I brought to his attention an unlawful arrest last year, he quickly dismissed the case. So from my limited experience, he is a man of integrity, and I hope he does the right thing in this case. As I receive more video footage of my arrest, I will post it to my channel, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any updates. I also will be going live from the protest on Wednesday. If you can't make it in person, you can watch it live. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your support. It means the absolute world to me, and I cannot fight these criminals with a badge without you. As always, public contact information is in the description if you'd like to peacefully petition your grievances to your government. We will win. I will never stop using the platform you all have given me and the legal tools I have available to me to fight tyranny in our government. We the people are celebrating.
I just appreciate what Sean Paul Reyes does. This right here is the petition. Demand District Attorney Ray Tierney drop the retaliatory charge against journalist Sean Paul Reyes. I'll put that in the chat for you. And this right here is the GoFundMe. We the People versus the police union and their power. I'll put both links in there right now, and then I will try to remember to put it in the live stream description so that even if you're watching this later, you can actually see it. I don't think I can change it right now. Yeah, I can't change it in StreamYard. So I'll try to put those links in the chat. If you decide to give to Sean Paul Reyes or go, oh, let me give you this video that we just saw too. Here's the link to this video. We got to support him. You know, very easily, Sean could have died in those cuffs. They could have offed him. They could have put him in a dark room with no cameras on. They could have said that he resisted arrest to the point where they had to restrain him and then, you know, suffocate the life out of him. It's really fortunate that he made it through this. He could have easily not made it through this. There are people who have been killed for less than the hurt that he was able to put on this PBA ego farm. That's what it is. It's an ego farm. These guys are probably jacked up on, who knows, maybe Adderall, they're taking speed, maybe they're taking steroids. I'm not saying they are. You know, a lot of them are bald, overweight, probably abusive to their people in their home. And we've seen that 40%, you know, cops are 40% more likely to be domestic abusers than people who are not in law enforcement. And it's kind of unique to that profession. So there's drinking problems, there's drug problems, they're taking stuff out of the evidence lockers, they're being just horrible human beings to the rest of us, and they probably suffer from PTSD. There's a lot of cops that off themselves because just like people who come back from war, they know they've done heinous things. They initially signed up because they wanted to protect democracy and the freedom of America, and they got in and they found out real fast that's a bunch of BS. They're really just working for the big pharma industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex, cartel mob. And then they come back and, you know, 20 to 30 of them every single day, you know, unalive themselves. And a lot of law enforcement agents do that too, because one of these days, that conscience that you constantly try to suppress and hold under the water will emerge. The human conscience wants to emerge. And once it does, and you can't face that, and you can no longer live in cognitive dissonance, which makes you feel comfortable, they end it by various means. So I'm glad Sean Paul Reyes lived through that experience. His battle isn't over. And if you want to give to him, if you want to support him, I've got those links in the chat. And here's the petition you can sign. I really appreciate you guys bringing this to me. These are important things to cover, and we've really got to stick together. None of us is greater than all of us. And we got to continually remember that we're all in this same boat together. Unfortunately, some of these human beings that wear uniforms are constantly putting holes in our boat, making humanity worse when they could be about the business of making it better. Appreciate you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Remember, the price of freedom is now and will always be eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. Stop securing your own oppression. Start today. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and share this video. I'll see you in the next one.